Hello.
The JVC here.
GG, JVC.
Like, honestly, I can't care about anything other than fishy body frame. I'm tilted.
Oh shit,
Yep.
Big Diesel got the green, the gold, whatever I'm trying to say.
The legendary green key. Only on that map.
Oh, hey, Camel got it. Wait one
Yeah.
second. We're right.
Camel
Oh, shit.
got what?
Depth record.
Oh,
damn.
cool.
Did you guys
Let's-
double check challenges?
I can do that. I can do that in a sec.
Okay.
Yeah, it
I had
looks
to
good so far.
congratulate him.
Yeah, I don't think
Yo,
anything is
I-
gonna change on him.
I know we're
Congrats,
all
Alex. Thanks.
I know we're all
Put up a good
reacting to Camel's new record on depth, but I just got gold on Realoke.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah,
So,
Camel got the last minute bop.
Yeah, what the
I'll
heck
check
was
out.
that? He just had a. He just.
He's been playing it all week. It wasn't. It wasn't.
He's been playing
it
it for a
just
while.
happened to be.
A likely story. Okay, I'm gonna go take a shower and come back to watch the stream. I'll be back. Should I adjust my scoring for Realoke to not be a 1 in gameplay now that I've gotten a gold on it?
No,
GG
you
Camel
really
on the record. GG.
Just
GG
scum.
Camel.
Camel, you're my goat.
Mhm. You're my goat.
You're not my
Let's
goat.
go.
That's adorable.
Whoa.
A few people coming in at the deadline.
Alright, challenges are updated. They shouldn't do that. I'm gonna go also double check the notes.
Are we
See,
roasting
1 minute, 8
matchmakers in here?
seconds on Camel's
Dude,
depth
Miles'
record.
map is so shit.
I have a ton of windows open again, so you're gonna have to bear with me, everybody. It's gonna be a while before I can get everything totally ready.
You're doing round 2 players, right, Roden? So,
Yeah, I can do that.
alright.
I'm gonna switch to this. Because I need
Oh,
monitor space.
thank God. I didn't get bopped.
Also, there is a good
Oh, thank
chance.
God.
I've been trying.
I
all
got
day,
bopped.
Man. Fuck that level.
Also, by the way, Ron, there is a good chance I'm not going to be I'm not going to be here for when depth is there. So, can you handle doing the depth tests, inputting the depth test challenge results and challenges?
Yeah, I can get that.
Awesome, thank you.
Big crowd in the VC today, huh?
Yep.
This was a hype round.
So how did it go? I'm busy doing
Okay,
my
why are
stuff.
all you-
so
why
I
are all
can't
these
really
fucking weirdos-
talk about anything else.
Playing Blossoming Leaves is off character at the last minute. Like, actually, what are people doing?
That's just what they want to do.
They saw the All-Star opportunity, man.
Everyone
Sometimes
put-
the maps
in
are not
last
made for the
minute, you don't
leaderboard
question what
characters.
Duck wants to do.
Fair enough.
Alright, I'm still loading all these things. I'm just making sure all the replays are
GG.
unhidden.
Ew, I was so close.
Dude, I saw you grinding the entire time. I was so scared.
I've been grinding all day. My hands are dust.
Yeah, now you know how I
You
felt on
forcing
Camp
them to do
Canopy.
something now?
Yeah, that's fair. Don't. If you look at the best time, I beat you, but I missed the final light to get the dust on the wall.
Oh no. Yeah, my best time is like a 13.8 something.
Yeah, I was actually like looking at the best time ones, and I was wondering if that was like just a dust miss or if you like missed a prism or something.
Yeah, mine was literally just the final light attack I missed.
Alright, all the challenges listed on the stream note should be updated. Is there anything you need help with, Rodent?
I think I'm good.
Alright.
Why is this in read only? You guys are gonna have to give me a couple more minutes.
No worries.
There's a lot of stuff that I have to do.
Oh yeah, by the way, for all the low percent enjoyers in here, Quantum made quite a few low percent tests with different strats, so y'all in for a treat.
Alright,
Y'all are in for a
Yeah,
treat.
for the team chat message counts. Idle, are you on that?
Yep, I can do that.
Alright, Chipotle is 7127.
Alright.
V ceiling's 3873. Wildlife 2261.
Okay. I accidentally put his 20,000. Okay, ready.
3866 for Kappa Crew.
JBC's a spammer, bro.
I didn't even
Not
spam
just
this
him.
week. I was, but this last few days I didn't say like anything. Okay, and what I really want every team to know that won't be in the recap is Camel's invert on the overhang bounty, like the any percent. We didn't know that you get supered across that.
No one knew that.
dog shit spot.
Literally no
Okay.
one knew that. It was intended.
Yeah.
I'll talk about it.
Well,
when
we
get
were.
there.
Okay.
Nobody figured that out until they.
I was going with that
started
for
doing
so
it.
long. I went for that for so long until DCBC said, "Hey, you can get super here." I was like, "Oh." So then I
Wait,
did that.
what? Wait, what do you mean you get?
We'll get there.
For the overhang.
Overhang
barrier
is the
church.
first level we're gonna look at.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm about to be really mad, I guess.
You'll see what I mean very soon. Overhang's the first level we're looking at. We're gonna go to the levels in reverse order.
Appropriate for the week.
Yeah.
Chipotle, I would like to complain.
Which does
about
mean the
that
Taz
death
is gonna be
zone
the
one more
last
time.
thing that we reveal.
No face isn't here. Sorry.
Uh,
it.
So is logged in. All right. Let me make sure I have the stream ready because I don't. I'm just showing you guys what is on Dust for us. That's the right one. Alright, other thing that I was gonna do. Where's that window? Okay, idle pin that. Anything else?
Oh, let me check.
All right, so that's that list for me. All right, so yeah, Chipotle squeaking by, clutching it out. Was looking close there at the end. Wildlife Wranglers had it for at least a few hours. I don't know how long exactly, but all these categories were close. It could have swinged either way. There is still one challenge that is not yet finalized. That's the task challenge, but it's not gonna make a difference on the team points. as we can see, because the challenges themselves are, spaced enough apart where just one challenge is not going to make up the difference. It was a few challenges that made the difference, all swinging in the direction of wildlife wranglers. But Camel with the last minute and 8 seconds bop on Fishy gives him +2 points and Fishy -2 points on the leaderboard for depth. Which that alone would be enough to break a tie at 90. But there were other people doing their work too. What was the other point you guys got at the end?
I know Bat got one.
Me.
Bat got a point. All right.
Oh, I got a point on Wildgrass as well.
Oh, okay. There was a lot of like +1, -1 being thrown around at the end. V Ceilings had a good chance too to win it, but ended up 3rd place in the close finish. And then for the keys, it was a difference of 1 gold key. That ended up being at least a point there. 2 more gold keys, that's +1 to Wildlife, -1 to Chipotle. 1 more would have tied it for +1 point, would have shared the glory of the week. And gold keys are that was the strength of Chipotle in round 1, just getting a lot of golds. But Wildlife getting their keys this time, so cool to see all that. Another funny thing, so looking at the level points, Chipotle doing worst on their own level, but once again dominating the kid level. So Chipotle for kids after all. Kids eat at Chipotle. Never forget. And then
Our own map was trash. I don't want to play it.
Yeah. Then for the challenges,
I agree.
I don't remember how exactly they went down. It's still one to be determined, but Fishy with a win on 1. We got a variety of results. They're all listed in the challenges list, but we'll go through them as we did stuff. V Ceiling still slightly ahead in chat messages over Kappa Crew, but it's close. Kappa Crew
Hell
beating
yeah.
callouts though.
It's time to bust out the room script again.
God, we clear on callouts.
Yep, but not in your own channel. Still 3rd.
It's fine. The call out stats what's really important.
But you guys have been close in challenges every time. I mean,
Hey, we're
it
putting
swung
up
away from you again,
bounties.
unfortunately. But you had a chance
Yeah,
at winning
I was
challenges each
trying-
time.
Was trying real hard on the Apple challenge I was on, but couldn't quite make it.
Yeah.
ABC was so boppable too.
Dude, I could have easily saved that 2 seconds.
I could not get I don't know. Was very aware of a lot of time save, but it just was so obnoxious to juggle the apple.
We had 5 people that went perfect on keys, including Alex, Arb, Fishy, Maso, and Camel, who went double duty for the final record on depth, and also was reminded offhand by me that he hadn't gotten the 16-bit sprint invert yet.
Which changed nothing as well, other than
Well, I mean, he went perfect
getting
on
it.
keys because of it, but
Yeah, I just mean that.
I made a joke that he didn't have all of the invert pluses yet. I was like, "Are you sure you're gonna do that instead of continuing to grind depth?" And he's like, "Yes, of course." And then he got them both, so he took the break for the invert plus, and that was all that mattered, I guess. It was
Yeah,
just
the
enough time.
3-minute break.
Yeah. There were 5 additional people that went perfect on reds, including Idol, JVC, Nighthawk, Planet, Wazi, There were 8 people total that got all the invert pluses. A Boss, Cow, and No Face joining the Perfect Key gang. 2 more people got all the inverts on this list. That's Big Diesel and Cruel Gamer.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Reppin'.
Yeah, so some of you doing a lot of inverts, but you need a little bit more depth, unfortunately. And then you'll start to get points there. For highest points, Fishy dominated again, not a big surprise. But he was looking really dominant, especially when he had that depth record. Maso did really well, managed to tie Camel, who has been a consistent 2nd place in points, kind of across the board. Maso still getting one of the records. Camel getting the depth one right at the end, and deciding he didn't really want to go for that Blossoming Leaves top 10.
Honestly, can't blame him on that one.
Yeah. Arb got it though. Arb
Only
usually
by
a little higher on
consequence.
points, but not the best week for him.
I may have baited myself a bit too hard with the task challenge. I'm gonna be real.
This is there's actually no one else in the 20s.
You baited
Oh
everyone.
no, JVC got 23. So a bit unusual, more spread out than normal. For the level points, Nighthawk with 18, Idol with 17. Not as many 20s this time. Usually, in the past it's been Camel and Arb right after Fishy. Last round, we had Maso and Idol and JVC right after that. You know, last time Fishy got 36, Idol 22, JVC 21, Maso 26. Camel got 30 last time. So, interesting that it's a bit more spread out. I think some of that came down to Blossoming Leaves throwing a bit of a curveball and the points being there. Magma Peach with the first DLC record over there. Nighthawk also getting a win for Chipotle. Fishy getting all of the records for his team, which was as many as all of Chipotle got. And then Maso made the other one up. But Camel's was worth 2, so bonus points to Camel. Fishy with the absolute fire and trash talk, bopping JBC by 1 frame.
Oh my god.
He may not say much, but when he does, it hits.
Yeah.
I got sniped.
It absolutely destroyed his mental.
Possibly the most devastating trash talk ever done.
Yeah, pretty good.
That or DCVC's Mega Bot might have been it.
Other one. Alright. Let's watch some replays. We're gonna go through the levels in reverse order this time. So I'm gonna start with some of these inverts. Starting off with the bounties. The first one, as was already teased a little bit, that was Overhang. Okay. Just making sure I have everything up, ready. Alright. Overhang, no air charge was the plugin. This is one of 2 bounties. This one, the invert was just any %, and that ended up being the curveball that people didn't expect. That made it really funny for me and Uckies. Because It turned out that it was easier to do this challenge, this invert, if you ended up grinding for super to make it over one of the gaps. I'm not gonna show an any percent run in favor of just showing some SS's. But it turns out there were a lot of ways to solve it. So no air charge, that means spike jumps are even more free. Camel ended up being the first one to get the invert after like a lot of dying on this one part. But we'll get there, see how it's solved. Turns out that there are a lot of ways to cover the gaps, but this one right after the wolf is the first important one. And if you're just gonna any percent it, you don't have super if you didn't get all the dust before then, which makes things a lot harder. If you do decide to, you know, try to make the jump without super, you can do that. The problem is, that's tough.
Yeah, this is
That's
definitely
really
a slow way to farm super, right?
Yeah. But hey, you just need to SS it. That's all we're looking for.
Yeah, but if you're like me and you have to farm super like 16 times to complete the map, it saves a little time to have. Oh, sheesh. Oh my.
What?
Let's keep it going.
Oh no!
Okay.
Why
for
are
what
we
it's worth,
firing with lights, man?
you don't need a second super here. You can just
Oh, of course not.
juggle it.
All right, well we're showing a variety.
All three
Okay.
bounties did something different. Like,
Yeah.
What the
very
heck?
different
Why is
to
it
this,
going
by the
that way? Where are you going with this?
Oh my god.
He actually did this?
Brother, what is
Wait.
happening?
Is there a
No,
clip here?
there's a. Yeah, we were like joking about this.
Oh,
He's not
like,
even getting
surely-
it. Oh, there it is.
What is this? Are you serious?
Camel accidentally flipped the apple there.
What the hell?
Don't
my
choke the
God.
ending.
Oh god.
That's hilarious.
Yo, I was like having a fucking stroke when I was killing this bear.
I
I was scared for my
I-
life.
gave
killing that bear.
So that's one of the solutions. There is a clip right here.
What do you mean there's a clip?
we cannot encourage this solution.
Oh god.
That's one of the ways to do it. But yeah, starting after that wolf, there are 3 difficult places to scale. JVC, I think, was the so Camel was the first to get invert. A-Boss was the first from Wildlife to get invert, but was 2nd place. Idle ended up getting 3rd for their team, V-Sealing.
Fishy got the first plus.
But yeah, for invert plus, Fishy got that one first. That was a tough one. That one ended up being right before the depth bounty was revealed. JVC got it 2nd, not too long after, with this run. So also using super there, pretty expected. But what will JVC do here with this apple? The text
Farm it slightly
questioning why
faster.
you're there.
Is it necessary to farm super on this apple?
For what I do, it sure is.
Yeah,
But
well,
It is not
Strictly
required.
speaking, it is not, but it's easier.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Super is not required for this invert plus. I don't know if anyone did it without any supers because, you know, one of them is probably easier.
oh, the first one, yeah.
So JVC skipping,
Oh
grabbing the
my
first ceiling,
God.
then getting a little super hit rise to grab the 2nd ceiling.
I
Pretty sure Arp told me that was impossible.
no.
We thought that it
he-
wasn't, and we found a way.
He said it was impossible if you grab the first ceiling, which it is.
Yes,
Yeah, We
correct.
spent a long time
So-
crafting how to not have to grab
Yeah.
this.
I'm trolling, dude.
So what some people managed to do a little science of involved checking to see what you know, when you could grab the ceiling, if you could re-grab it. Are there differences between Arbs, which
Arbin
one?
and Fishy do
Ours has
different things.
strat.
Yeah,
my
Arb,
time's different from Sheep's.
Arb uses a juggle.
Yeah, but for people that looked compared to Nighthawk and Fishy, what about these ones? Should I show Arb and Cal? They're only a minute.
Yeah, we could look at them. I think they're the same, but it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
We show Arb because he's my goat.
Yeah, so Arb was the third one to get it. In the lead.
I don't know why everybody's doing nonsense around that like first perky area. Like, you could just.
I think people just stuck to comfort after they had like spent so long.
You just
making
need
a mess
SS.
out of hard
Yeah.
sections.
No. For me, it was the opposite. I was like, dude, I need to get to the apple as soon as I possibly can. I'm gonna lose my sanity if I don't.
All right, a little grinding.
I had this apple when I was farming like this just fly like crazy far left once, and I lost it, and I was like, what? Where did
a
my
little
apple
bit of
just go?
apple juggling, then grabbing the ceiling.
Yeah, so that super there is just to clean dust basically, and to get the ceiling, but you don't
Yeah.
need it to get the ceiling.
You don't need it. It's just a lot easier if you have it on many different levels.
Bro, I threw like 5 runs to that last fight jump.
Dude, same.
Keeping it
I-
close at the end. Making it tense.
For a while, I was doing the like helicopter, like grab the ceiling, go left bullshit, and then I was like, okay, no, I can't. This is so stupid.
Alright.
Yeah, it was so painful watching Arm get like 4 runs to the end and die to that spike jump.
Yeah, I threw a lot of runs at the end too. I was stuck on this for a while.
Yeah,
It
when I
is-
finally got to the bear,
Everybody was.
when I finally got to the bear, I was like, all right, I am gonna take the zero
Like,
risk.
I was
here.
not farming.
Yeah, same.
Oh hey, is this the legendary no super?
No, he did super on the first one.
He supered the
I
first
don't
one,
think
yeah.
anyone's going
Oh,
to
yeah.
skip the super for the post wolf gap.
Yeah.
In the SS runs. But there are 2 ways to do that if you're curious. One is you can actually make the jump as established, and 2, you can lure the wolf and get the little boost
right.
from the wolf, and that's pretty tough. If you tried to do that, you may have noticed that the wolf can clip in a place that you cannot normally clip. So, if you don't know what I'm talking about, then I might show it. I might not.
I mean, we already established that wolves are weird with Doggy 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 last DLC, so.
So this area right here has a clip. Right here. There's a little clip that the wolf can get into right here.
Oh god.
Jesus Christ.
That's not required, but it does help. In terms of luring the wolf. The wolf can, you know, be helpful whether it's there or not. Looks like Nighthawk's gonna get the super. Just kidding.
No?
Oh.
What?
What the? What
Alright.
is happening? Oh my god.
That's a smart way to set up that juggle.
Yeah.
Wait, do you have enough? Oh my god, and the super at the end? Huge.
Yeah, still a double super round. Fishy, though, needs to go fast.
How could you save 8 seconds off that?
Does Fishy do the super list route? And just super the end?
Probably not.
I doubt it.
There's no
Looking
way you skip the
smooth.
first super. The first super's so
Ooh,
helpful.
going over. Question.
Oh wow.
What?
Oh, yeah, I did watch this. When I saw that Fishy did that, right, I was like, dude, why?
Alright.
Fishy
using the
redid
first
this,
super.
yeah? This wasn't the original run?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think this
Someone
is a
can
new
verify.
TV, right? I'm not too sure though.
Alright,
Fishy just
getting
doing the juggle.
intended strats,
Yeah.
perhaps? Question mark.
Oh, you made that look easy.
And then going faster at the pork.
Oh wow.
And not losing to iteration order.
And looking
Oh,
like they actually know what they're doing with the
True.
bear.
Yo, iteration order would have been tragic there though.
Yeah.
I hope he led that out beforehand.
I'm sure he did, based on the attacks. Like, surely.
Nah, just wing it.
Nice draw. Let's see if I can set this up really quickly. Alright, well, if the wolf aggro is over here, sometimes it can jump into this gap. Not required, because the wolf can just aggro from down here and you'll make it. But that's the other strat I was talking about. But yeah, overhang, one of the hardest inverts we've had to date. The second least achieved invert plus at 11. Next we have our blindfold level, which was our other bounty. And this one, blindfold tends to scare some people, but the point of this one was about teamwork, and teamwork definitely helps compared to, you know, just doing it by yourself, looking at, say, you know, a map on the other screen or something like that. Definitely with blindfold in this kind of invert, you want a second monitor.
Teamwork here is deafening so that you stop out the yapping.
Yep.
Shout out to me frantically asking Arb to take a screenshot of a section that I forgot to during the bounty.
True. And shout outs to Cruel for his godlike write-up of the entire route.
Yeah, I was gonna say, big shout outs to Cruel. He's the only reason I did this bounty, or this invert.
Yeah, you, Cruel and Cow should actually post your notes. Cow has a write-up just like Cruel's. You should compare notes.
I think No Face might have done that as well, but I don't know.
Yeah, maybe actually.
I'll tell you, I didn't use it. I just winged it. Oops.
The time is pretty generous on this one, even for the invert plus, so you can just sort of wing it.
All right, so
yeah, I ended up getting right along that 30 or that 6-minute time
with blindfolds. Just so you guys know, all people can see is a black screen. That's it. They don't get any information. They don't get anything like that. So, you know, that's just what people are used to seeing. We're not gonna watch the replays like that. We don't have to deal with that. We're gonna watch Big Diesel's bounty winning
oh no
run. We'll just see what won the bounty. So Big Diesel won both the invert and invert plus bounty with this.
Can I say?
Let's see. It took 19 minutes to achieve this.
That's a
What a
good
god.
amount of time.
What a god.
I'm pretty sure I took longer to do this with the instructions than he took to do this in the bounty.
In our team call, Camel and I immediately were like, blindfold, fuck that. And so then the call was just way too much yapping, so our blindfold people were at a severe disadvantage.
This looks pretty decent so far. I think I get kind of lost in like the last climby section.
Yeah, I'm previewing where I'm gonna speed it up.
Okay.
Because this is a 4.5+ minute run. It
this
helps
is where
when you know the checkpoints. So, you know, there's a checkpoint up there. You know, you're in the air when you start that kind of checkpoint. You get to hear the bear when you walk by the bear. You then die and it's not the spikes, so you're in summit.
Yep.
Looks like you only die here a couple times. But this one, it always takes people a while to warm up to blindfolds. In the end, though, being kind of one of the easier invert pluses. You know, once you commit to it, and you're like, oh, you know what, blindfold's not that bad.
So this is an intentional death, and I think I died quite a few times here, trying to hit this double jump, heavy jump. I think I just didn't have the timing right. Oh, yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, we had Cruel give us a strat past this run.
Yeah, well, you guys were using Worth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
we were just doing a double dash setup across the bottom.
Alright, half the time gonna be at this checkpoint. Unfortunately, not many places to die here in such a long checkpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like where the map actually starts to get hard, is in these climbs.
Oh gosh.
More so the one after this for me.
This is rough to watch.
Alright, I'll speed it up a little.
I'm like
I mean,
trying to
the-
figure out where I am.
Yeah, this is just what live
Oh,
world
there.
looks like, though.
Yep.
Unless you're Archie.
But don't worry, we're gonna have some faster ones to watch that are entertaining.
I think I
Yeah,
like
this
intentionally.
climb, dude.
I think
This
I
climb
intentionally.
is so impossible.
At some point, I try to get onto like the left side. Yeah, and that helps.
So close.
Oh, and yeah, I think do I die here? Oh, I fell all the way down.
No, because the difficulty here is when you fall down like that, you lose the leaves, and it's really hard to tell where you are without those, because
Yeah.
right here, you get that same sound if you just hold upright. So it makes it kind of a guessing game as to where you are.
Ooh.
And I mean, eventually you just have to kind of
That we
choose
cannot-
one and hope you're right.
That definitely was not an intentional setup. Oh, good. Okay, and then I finally get up here. I should intentionally
Thinking
die
phase.
here. I don't.
Does
Yeah, I
he
don't think
decide
I-
to win the invert here?
Hmm.
Ooh. Oh, he might be at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, misses the super ones too. Doubting himself a little bit.
Yeah.
There it is.
Hey.
Winning 2 challenges with the same run.
That's some efficiency right there.
Yep. Let's watch JVC's run. So JVC did this kind of in response to what was it? If you play Temple Tonic, I'll play Blindfold.
I wasn't gonna play this invert at all because we didn't need the keys, and I was like, I can't be bothered with that shit. But then Magma Beach agreed to play Temple Tonic, which I consider to be like the worst map that I can think of if I played it.
So we had fun listening to JVC go through this ordeal, and I'm pretty sure this was second try.
It was second try, yeah. And I kind of just winged it.
Yeah, pretty fast.
I don't know,
run
it
to
just
boot.
it didn't seem that bad actually.
You're catching up to Big Diesel, who you end up beating by like a minute and a half.
I was gonna say, yeah, isn't this gonna be way faster than mine?
Probably gonna pass him in ruins. Ooh, gets the death right at the right spot.
Easy. Every time I'm pausing, it's just me opening the editor on my second monitor and like dragging it over to try and figure out what the next section looks like.
You hear the bear.
Stops in the
wave at you
perfect
as you
place
go
at
by.
Summit.
That's great.
And then it
And he dies.
immediately dies.
I had to normalize.
Yeah,
you had
dude.
to
Thought he was in midair for that turkey hit. Speed it up a little.
Went for the dash jump and failed.
The double turkey. Easy peasy. Getting caught in the dusk run though.
Gotta touch the wall.
Yeah. Breezing through Ascent. Man Ascent player right there.
It's free.
Dude,
First
Ascent
try
is
super.
so hard in this.
Alright, let's watch the record. First, you hold right. Nighthawk going for dust and a boost. Not paying off so far. Ooh.
When Camel just recently did this, he just hit the porks every single time. Like I don't know how.
Nighthawk hitting everything and getting hit by everything. Oh, but it's going really well all of a sudden.
Nighthawk just wanted to give the bear a hug, okay?
Nighthawk was 3rd place for this. 2nd place went to Glass for the invert, followed very closely by Fishy for invert plus, both on Wildlife. Thinking face. He's close. And the confidence builds at the end.
Easy.
Thank God you have a super for the end there.
Yeah, that would be rough without a super.
I really like that like grass pit to the left. During the like ascent climb, if you go through the like hole at the left and get stuck in that one big opening.
Up by like the tunnels area?
Yeah, like above tunnels.
Alright, in the jaunt,
Or I guess above shaded, I think.
John was one of the
the roof was shaded, yeah.
Was the one tied with Overhang for least achieved invert plus. Pretty strict in terms of execution. You know, gotta have a short invert every now and then. But the gimmick here is not only can you teleport from all these little teleporters, you gotta hit everything, and it's Minecraft, so hey, you can really go wherever you want for routing here. So more complicated to route as a result of this. You just gotta any percent it. A lot of people ended up, you know, kind of copying near the top, which is to be expected. But there was also a lot of variety in these runs. So 9 seconds was invert plus, I'm pretty sure, or was invert, and 7 seconds was invert plus. So let's pick one of these in the 8s and just kind of see what happens. A lot of teleporting going on. Ghosts are not going to be too helpful here.
Do the ghosts even work properly with the teleport script?
Wait. Did Camel not get the invert plus here?
I was
thought
looking
we
at score.
said he had perfect keys.
He died.
Oh. I see.
No Face grinded this for quite a bit. Has a little bit different over out.
Yeah, this invert plus was actually quite hard.
I agree.
I probably should have showed what my route was for this.
Oh.
I think I have a video somewhere in my DMs with or not a video, an image somewhere in my DMs with Uckies. But I was originally thinking lower 6s, and 50 would be the only one under 6.5. But I mean, then you guys are just gonna figure out a better route, not have to stop at some point. But one of the challenging things that a lot of people went for, that ended up being the popular route, was the opening. Which was not the same opening that I did.
I did not like that opening.
I like that ending from Cow, that was sick.
That was cool.
But you guys have seen a lot of these ones before. I'm gonna skip to closer to the end. I think we're gonna see basically the same route for these.
Whatever the like heavy that hits the first slime and you teleport is was too bullshit for me to bother with.
I think it's frame perfect. That's frame perfect. Like you have to like hit it and teleport at the same time. So.
I got it sometimes, totally accidental, and then it screwed up my routing because I wasn't expecting to get it.
All right. Yeah, pretty straightforward. You know, just teleport and do Minecraft things.
Yep.
Then we have infinite air charges. This one seemed to be the most popular invert of the week.
This one was funny.
It was just fun.
It was a good one. So let's see, 90 seconds, a minute and a half was required for just invert. We had 33 people get that. 22 people got invert plus, which was 50 seconds, which was pretty much just, you know, don't die. JVC unfortunately didn't make it, so we're not gonna watch his replay.
That's a good one though.
Did you choke?
Maybe. I think you should watch it.
Unlucky.
I think you should watch it. I think that you'll enjoy it.
All right. Not too many checkpoints. There's also a checkpoint here. But we usually dodge that in infinite air charges. One bonus light for Sasha. So yeah, pretty much the point is if you want invert plus, you better not die. You can be a little bit careful, and you don't even have to take all the shortcuts. Keeping it close. But very cool Lindley map. It turned out that both this and the Jaunt were released, I think, 2 weeks apart from each other. Both in May 2017. I listed when all the maps were released that were from Alice, when I posted them in announcements, if someone wants to double check that. It's one of those good things to know offhand.
Wait, that's kind of wild. Those maps are 7 years old?
That is crazy.
Well, I did just kind of guess at what I
Bro, how is
thought
this
I remembered,
game even 7 years old?
If one of you can double check the announcements to see when things were released to verify, that'd be nice.
How did you say this?
JVC throwing a little bit.
That's
just a
my
little.
captain.
I thought you'd like that replay.
That's their captain.
Yeah, they're both 2017.
Cool. Yeah, the Jaunt was for a CMR. So was the first.
May 19th.
And Overhang was a Dark Horse level for Summit.
Yep. It's almost exactly 2 weeks apart.
Yeah.
The first was also a CMR level, wasn't it?
Yep. That was 2 CMRs ago, I think. I listed which one it was in announcements.
The mention is gonna be for the next CMR.
Oh yeah?
You heard it here first, folks.
I would have done it for the last CMR, but I was busy and it didn't fit the theme.
You didn't want to do the Dark Mention? The Dirk Mention?
The Dirk Mention. No, didn't do a Dirk Mention.
We'll watch the top 2. We'll see how good these button mashing skills are. Tess going for the first little Terra. Not a full Terra, but getting a little lead and then hitting jump a lot.
The worth jump spam climbs so fast.
But worth losing time in the dash sections, in the boost sections.
The boost sections.
The ADB sections.
No Face was super sold on Kid for this, and I just like could not figure out for the life of me why.
Yeah, I don't.
Needed the handicap. Let's keep it interesting.
I mean, it might help for just
I guess
control.
smaller
Like,
jumps easier to move. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
like
feeling the not centered prisms at the end.
Oh.
Camel would have
Makes
re-uploaded
it
this
easier
level.
to maneuver, but harder in terms of button spam.
Right.
Cow going for the shortcut too. Hitting jump even harder. Infinite air
Oh
charge
my
classic
god,
right
he's
there.
going to the moon.
Yeah, this is very much a cow invert.
Yeah, don't die. Alright, getting the
Oh,
last
wow.
shortcut into one heavy.
Sick.
Let's go, cow.
Cool. That's it for the invert only levels. Alright, give me a moment. I'm just rearranging my monitor stuff. Alright. So Cap Attacky 2, this was based on Not Attacky 2. So for the fans, yeah, here's the original map that it was based on. Not Attacky 2 was originally a DLC 1 level from week 3. The theme of which involved picking 3 different kinds of enemies, and you had to use at least 2 of those 3. So one team ended up choosing both of the types of gargoyles and the spring blobs, the tether blobs, and maps that were uploaded that round had to be they had to use at least 2 of those 3 enemies, and those are the only types of enemies they were allowed to use. So, you know, what could have been Attacky 2 turned into Cap Attacky 2.
Yeah, I was pretty unhappy with the original map when it came out. So it was a good chance to work on it again.
The remix is good. Great work.
Yeah, just nothing in the original map worked out, and I just wasn't feeling well the week it was made.
Give me a moment still. I'm just trying to check some of this.
Tinted was the real Attacky too. Changed my mind. Why am I timed out?
Thanks, Miles.
I frankly agree.
10
Tinted was kind of more so the Attacky too.
Runner
very
Idol,
happy
can
with
you
Tinted when
list
it came out.
like the ranking of like how many? So in this list, just say like how many like or what rank, like this is the blankth most.
Okay. Yeah,
red or
I'll
gold. That'd be helpful.
get
for
that
me.
added.
You know, just put like, you know, first, second, or seventh by each one, because that's gonna be easier for me to read than these notes.
Okay.
All right. All right. So here the gold key. There were 39 people that got it, which is a pretty high number. That one was 11 seconds. The red key was 10 seconds, which was the original prompt. You know, worth 10-second level on the level. So you know they managed to get a red key out of that, which worked out pretty well. 17 people got the red. And they had a lot of jumping and attacking. So let's see what that involved.
Wet known worth main.
Yeah. Big worth
Yeah,
coming
on the surface level, pretty straightforward map overall.
Yeah. Having a good rhythm to your attacks, definitely vital here.
It does get a little bit less obvious as it goes up in the rank.
Skyhawk.
Yeah,
getting a lot
also
of hype
shout
at the
outs
end.
to shout outs to Hammy for doing a lot of the work on the like early routing and testing and stuff.
Yeah, Handy helped a lot with playtesting on this map and adding some gameplay, which I'm not all that great at.
There's Hammy. Just missing out on red key, unfortunately. But helping a lot more with the no jump. Well, I remember.
Yeah, Hammy helped out a ton with timing the no jump stuff when we were making the map. We initially had that invert set at like a 26 or a 25, but like Zonda brought it back to a 27.
Dill also claimed Worth main, but we're seeing less of that this DLC. And unfortunately not a Worth red key from Dill. Not the easiest red key out there. Quite a grind. Sasha got it though. This particular level didn't see much V-Ceilings action at the top after like, I think Indipop got a pretty early record on it.
Yeah, it was funny. When I heard Indipop had a record on it, I'm like, yeah, that tracks. This feels like an Indipop level.
Skip to the top 10. Yeah, basically comes down to making sure you get those wall jumps right and doubling up very specific kinds of heavies.
Also, side note, as we get higher up, GG to anybody that got red 2 on this. We were predicting it would be a pretty hard red 2.
Very close to red 3 in the end. We'll see if anything changed. Because early predictions tend to always leave room for, you know, let's come up with another strat here or there. JVC had record with this run also for a few days. I think 2 days ago is when this was bought.
Why am I so far behind? Until the very end.
Wait, yeah, it looks like you lost, actually.
Wait a second.
Guess you just don't always need that height.
I guess so.
Nighthawk doing it a little bit differently. For that one frame.
That's kind of sick that it's frame tied and they just meet up on opposite sides at the top at the same time.
Sheila also had record here for a bit, right after JDC. Ended up at 3rd place. Not sure if Camel's run was a record, but it's 2nd place now, so it doesn't even matter.
It was.
How unique record holders do they have on this map? My god.
Well, there's always a lot of once world record holders. Fishy with the actual record.
Naturally, as the fish does.
Bro, he didn't even jump to the ceiling at the start.
Not saving that one frame.
Oh my god, he didn't do the 2 lights!
Oh, he did my strat there. We were like, this is awful.
Was that a ledge clip?
Yeah, you skip the yeah. And then Camel was like, wait, 2 lights is just better because we were doing heavies the whole time. And I was like, wait, what the fuck? How? And so then I did 2 lights. But yeah, that was my shitty strat.
Curious how that compares.
I'll have to test it. Yeah, I never tried it. I'll test it out at some point, maybe.
Are the links that you gave me published or not?
They are not. No. Kapataki was also one of the ones that I did not. Yeah, I think this was like in my state files, I think, and I lost them somehow. So I don't have one for this one, fortunately.
All right, just making sure. Would you be able to now publish the ones that you linked at least? You know, just put them in Composer and just click publish.
Yeah, sure.
That'd be a little helpful. But you don't have one for this one, so Fishy, the real champ.
Exactly.
Finally beating Arbs Lotad. Even though I'm pretty sure we had like a 9.5 in testing. Before any little changes.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was down to. I think it was like 9.4 or something, but eh.
Yeah, that sounds more familiar. And that was before the level came out. But Mapmaker advantage is sometimes Mapmaker disadvantage, which we'll see a little bit more of on Burrito Cavity, but we're not there yet. Blossoming Leaves had a little bit of not kid action right at the end. Actually, I could look at some Kapataki 2 no jump. That was the next thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we're not gonna do the invert on that one?
No, not anymore. So this was the harder of the 2 low jumps by intention. We had a bunch of people get this one. 20 people got Invert Plus here, so that's pretty cool. Invert Plus was a 27-second run in SS. No Face got it with 1 frame to spare.
Yeah, we were looking at 26 and 25 as other possible invert times. Me and Hammy did quite a lot of labbing on this.
Yeah. But 27 makes it a little bit more lenient, and people are more willing to do the lenient stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Can't have them all be hard.
Yep, this is what I would consider kind of the pretty standard strat, is something like that.
Until you get to the top.
Oh. Yeah, never mind. Other than the top there is what I'd consider the fairly standard strat.
Let's see what Hammy did. One of the main testers of this one. So these are the more intended strats, unless there's like something crazy going on in this run.
Nah, this one's pretty standard. Hammy had some other strats in testing that I hope we might get to see later, but they won't be in this run.
Three lights and not using the air charge to the wall. 3 lights and a heavy at the end too.
Yep. 3 lights and a heavy or 2 heavies is pretty much what we settle on for the most part.
We'll see someone from each team at the top. Okay. Nighthawk getting enough hype for 2 lights.
Yeah, I actually did not realize you could get the 2 lights in testing. Somehow that, we didn't realize that. We assumed it had to be 2 heavies or 2 lights and a heavy.
Cow going the other way.
Yes! Almost. Oh!
Skipping
we were curious
multiple
if that would
walls.
work. Oh, you did it twice? Hell yeah!
How that hit rise enjoyer.
Falling all the way down too.
Dude, I was so curious if you could do that. I'm so excited.
Alex
Oh,
continuing the
that's so
trend
cool.
of being last compared to the ghost. But not doing cow strats. Making it up there faster, though.
The other strat we had in testing is you can just skip going up in that middle section and just do Stairmaster to the right. And get like a mid 25 to a sub 25. But it's really, really annoying to grind. So looked like nobody opted for that route.
Our next level, originally based on Mint Leaves by Dawn to Dusk, which was tagged awkward and has a map notes smiley face. So, fortunately, we had a slightly better version of Mint Leaves to enjoy without dust on every platform. You know, toned it down a little bit. But still a challenging, somewhat intentionally awkward kid level. You know, it's a little tough to get around the all those diamonds. But we did have a red key reminiscent of DLC 4 red keys, which was very, very common. And the requirement for that was 9 seconds, which basically meant do the intended route. Which, in a level like this, honestly, there's not too much different that you need to do to make the intended route work. But, you know, it was pretty intentionally an easier red key, which ended up working surprisingly well to its advantage. A lot more people ended up giving the level more of a chance thanks to the red key.
This is notoriously Arb's favorite map to optimize.
Yeah, dude. I like it about as much as you like Realloc.
Yeah, playing Indipop going for red 2 here. Stopping in the top, just outside of the top 30s. But the nice thing about Blossoming Leaves here was that there's some new names in the top 20. There's some people that don't normally show up here, and there are a lot of Chipotle team members. 20th place back. So although the geometry, you know, kind of awkward to deal with,
what?
You can figure out like a little bit of a flow to it. But awkward and janky geometry does usually mean awkward and janky stuff to optimize. So when we get to the top, we'll get to peel apart a little bit to what makes the better runs a little bit better, and what makes frame perfect things frame perfect. A lot of people getting their first taste of a red key, thinking maybe I can get more. Even Heavy got a red key here.
Even Heavy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That guy barely gets wood keys. That's not even a flame. He just like doesn't play the maps. He plays his silly challenge and that's it.
Starting at JVC, we got 5 people from Chipotle all in a row. Camel's worst level of the round 2 levels, performance-wise. Arb the highest one from Kappa Crew.
I'm surprised Arb's still in the top 10 on this. Arb hates this map.
Arb's just too good at the game to fall out of the top 10. What do we say?
We got some big frame ties. Idle second for V ceilings. Then we had 4th through 7th for all wildlife wranglers defending their own level a little bit. Each pairing up with the frame ties. Dawn to Dusk, the initial map maker. Showing off the intended route. Maybe not originally intending some of those like frame perfect kind of scenarios along the walls. But pretty much if you get a frame perfect jump right on the corner there, that's the one you want to aim for. Mosso top of V ceilings here.
Oh, I'm not sure if you got my DM, but all the tasks were published.
They're published now? Cool.
Yep.
Helpful, thanks.
Except for the side one on 16-bit.
Yep.
But yeah.
I got that one up. Nighthawk one frame
Mosso's
better
run.
than Mosso.
Pretty crazy considering that we had some they didn't.
Yeah, let's see what different strats exist. Nighthawk doing a light to buffer a ladder heavy for some reason.
But how do you save 2 frames?
But Magma Peach really grinding hard for that extra 0.1. Getting the actual ladder heavy. Just pressing up and left and a heavy on the same frame. We finally had one of these in a
Let's go Magma Beach.
we finally had one of
GG
these
Magma Beach.
in a DLC map. But yeah, good first record by Magma Peach here.
Nicely done.
The requirement, other than pressing all those on the same frame, is you have to be in hover, and you have to grab the wall on the same subframe that you start the attack. By the way, got some representation from other characters. We'll go. We'll watch the Worth one for fun, just to remind ourselves what could have been. Wide
Oh, and
kid.
do break this one down because there is, we can see all the time save.
Alright, starting off with the littlest of RLJs. You gotta time the jump off the wall for some of these differently. I'm not sure about this ending. Did you time going around the left side at all?
Yeah, they were equal.
All right.
Wide kid happy.
Yeah, that's been a request for a while. I've been saying someone should make a wide kid happy for years. We got a Sanic TAS SA somehow. Not sure what that is. We'll just watch our Worth run. What if you had better jumps? Not just one more. There it is.
Yeah, honestly, the Worth route goes kind of hard on this.
Yeah.
But on to the two boosty characters. Let's start with the. Well, actually, no, I still have the invert to do. Here. So this one was a new plugin called Jump Character Swap.
This invert was so fun.
This one's a bit of a puzzle to try to understand. All right, well, how do I handle these air charges after all?
Yo, Magma Peach with the record again?
Yeah, this invert was pretty cool.
So just beating it was enough for any percent invert. Which, you know, not easy because you have limited air charges. But you had to beat it in 9 seconds for the invert
Wait,
plus.
Did seriously nobody do... My god.
Nobody do what?
Nobody did the Death Orb? That's just so surprising to me.
I don't know why you did the Death Warp, honestly. I was just watching you do this when you did it, and I was like, I guess that's fine.
I'm just surprised out of like 30 people, nobody else saw this. Instead of just going up.
Yeah, they really did just go up.
Ben's really asking, like, why didn't everybody else do the slow strat? Why is it just me?
So the trick here is making sure that you get your air charges or leave the ground when you're a kid. That way you get 2 air charges, not just 1. Which that was pretty much the only puzzle to kind of figure out. Other than that, there's a little bit of routing shenanigans you can do on top of all that. Some a little bit harder than others. But, you know, cool plugin for the level. It turns it into something more interesting to route for the character swap kind of stuff too, because you gotta jump a lot. And unfortunately for people like Heavy, not something that you can do without jumping. Similar to the dash character swap. Not really needing dash, but this time you needed it. But
like
Magma
that.
Peach defending the level on both sides. Making sure to end with that Worth up Heavy.
Huh.
Alright, and then we have the girl level. 16-bit sprint. It's in the wrong spot.
Base level?
16-bit sprint, originally based on 8-bit race by Miles. Which, this one was an easy routing map according to Miles. But 16-bit made it a little bit easier, I guess. A little bit shorter. But you can see where the inspiration comes from. Here we had, let's see, we needed an 8-second run for gold and a 7-second or a 7.2 second run for red, with 12 people getting sub 7. Rodent showing what's needed for the 8-second run right to the frame.
There's a request for Kiero's run on this.
Where's that?
Lower, I think.
I think this was Kiero's first wood key, if I'm not mistaken.
Hey, congrats.
Let's go.
One of our
These
newer
are
players
hard.
in the game. You can see that classic, it's hard to let go of ceilings. It's hard to learn to let go of ceilings in Dustforce. A lot of people have trouble with that. Ceilings are sticky.
That was a surprisingly decent run for.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the time DLC 8 rolls around, that'll be some silver keys, you know? Or higher.
I was gonna say, I'm expecting wood keys to be like kind of like just SS the level, but that was like decent. Hell yeah. Wasn't depths like SS the level is a wood key?
Depth is SS for wood, yeah.
Is this the first one we see that goes under at the start?
We're gonna see
No,
quite a
most of the
variety.
replays. Most of the replays have gone under.
Sasha, 21st player, just not getting a point, but getting the red key.
Oh, that route is sick.
Yeah, that was the route I told you guys about. Where it was like barely faster with certain things. If you did certain things.
We're gonna see a variety of going above and
Bro,
below.
what? People are actually going under? There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way!
We're gonna see more map uploaders that went below, I suspect. Getting into the top 10 here, we got Wazi. Wazi going below. Perhaps also.
The record goes under. I'm done with this game.
Well, the record is Maso, who was on Team V ceilings defending the map. I'll skip a few more. Indapops was record for a bit. These are probably the expected strats from Indapop. I remember something along the lines of Indapop saying that if JVC has the same route, like it must be a crazy good run, because this was apparently a pretty good run for these expected strats.
I don't go under.
Dude, is going under the new access boost of DLC.
There's no way going under is good. There's no way.
Plant with a little bit different of an ending.
I don't even think my run was that good. I like scuff a boost really hard. So I'm convinced going under's bad.
Alex, team down under.
What the fuck? Everybody's going under.
Can you imagine not going under?
That's the new green IO ceiling, bro. What?
Can't picture anything else.
4th, 5th, and 6th, all frame tying each other, all worth the 3 points. JVC not going under.
I didn't see how this compares time-wise, but I assume it's like 3 seconds slower than all the ones that go under.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
guess
so I'm just
that
better?
Fishy went
Oh,
under.
wait, wait, you inspired Camel.
I did. Camel followed my lead.
It's incredible.
Well, you tied Camel, so you may have followed his lead after a point.
Okay, now.
Fishy going under?
Oh, it's the
saving a
better
frame
strat,
by doing
confirmed.
What? What?
it with a better ending.
This is fake.
Same kind of ending that we've seen already too. Arb going under. Is it just Chipotle?
It's so fake.
Or will Maso change it up?
Please,
I don't
Maso,
know,
please.
JVC.
Please, Maso.
Under.
Please.
Oh, you look
I'm
to
done.
see it.
I'm out of here. No, I'm done.
So just
Oh,
Chipotle
well,
figuring out a
that's
good
the
route
worst
up
chat.
top.
We lost them.
Everybody else doing the more expected strats from V ceilings. But Maso grinding for a good record here. Does Arb's route go under? Did you try going over at all?
I did. So there's a route that Tess uses that was equal to this. I guess I forgot to update the task with the route that's similar to what JVC did, but was only 2 frames faster than going under.
Yeah, Tets's route is actually really sick.
Yeah, I remember that. We'll check that one. So this one, the only one to mix the two, I remember. But not quite refined yet. Was a day 1 run, I think.
Yeah.
Like hour 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Tess was playing this like as I came home from work that evening. And it was like, so this is, yeah, basically an hour 1 run.
One of these things is not like the other.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. As for the invert and invert plus, this one was the easiest invert plus, the most lenient. They required a 42-second SS and a normal SS just for invert. JVC just getting invert.
So what is this?
So
are we watching
Are you
it?
doing some practice?
We're
for
not
the
gonna
other
watch
match?
that one, or at least not yet.
Did you like walk away from your PC or something? Like what?
Yeah, what could possibly take that long? But there were a few different ways to do this invert. So not one with an intended kind of route, just allowing for different routes. And the routes were basically, do you go up and above to the left, or do you get the apple? And there's a little bit of variation depending on the ending as well. That determines what you do. But in order to get a 42-second run, you gotta be a little bit careful. Northgate just getting it for a good invert plus.
Nicely done.
Yeah, this is a really sick invert in terms of how many options you have for doing things.
Any noteworthy ones here? Like in the
Heavy's
middle?
first one for the challenge is maybe noteworthy.
I
but
did
don't
get
know
a
if we have
worth
it.
run before my kid run.
Heavy's first run was pretty similar to No Faces, right? Same route, just
Yes,
cleaned
yeah.
up. All right.
Just yeah, yep.
So there was a
Hey, Alex, yeah.
there was a challenge between Avenged and Heavy on this level for man low jump, and there are a few ways to do that. One of which involves a twirly to do what Kid was just doing. So do you get the twirly or do you get the apple? Avenged is just sitting there with like a 1 minute 10-second run, getting the apple and getting multiple supers, from what I remember.
Yep.
And then No Face is
my
like,
initial
well,
run was not fast.
yeah, No Face is like, well, let's just twirly, and trying to get Heavy to do the twirly.
Yeah, I realized after I made the challenge that I made a terrible miscalculation and that a twirly would just be fast on that side.
Turns out it's
I'm
not.
happy that there is something else that is faster.
Yeah, but then Heavy got a twirly run. It was pretty good, but Not good enough. Avenge still beaten. What could it mean? You know, Chipotle back to the lab. Let's get the apple instead. So, you know, it continues with a little bit of apple wall climbing.
He did this?
in a more unique super.
Oh, okay. He did. I see. Interesting.
So that's pretty cool.
That's a nice super.
I didn't think that was possible. That's an insane route.
Yeah, so we did something very different here.
Yeah, let's see
That's
what
cool.
Avenge did to win the challenge. Also going for the apple. Getting to the apple a little bit later, but getting a little bit, like, slightly different dust too. Actually, no, I think you only got the big prism differently. Not grinding for super.
Yeah, shout out to Arb on this.
Yeah, not grinding for super and just going to the right side with that apple.
Yeah, that uses some hit rise storage shenanigans to get enough height.
We're gonna take a little step back for our other challenge on the level, which was between Yoko, Rodent, and Cow for no jump SS. Yoko put up a pretty solid run with Kid here. All of them ended up using Kid.
That was pretty clean.
Yeah, I'm very impressed by the sub 23 times coming out from Cow and Rodent here. This is
Yeah,
not easy.
I am curious what they're doing here, though. I got sucked into a task wormhole, so presumably not that similar to what I figured out, but
Yeah, there is some stuff you can do in TAS.
Okay, yeah, better execution.
Yeah, plus he
There
gets
was-
the 2 prisms at top.
yeah,
to
the cut on the
save some
prisms.
time.
Yeah, the cut on the prisms saves some time there as well. Not a huge amount, but
Yeah.
it definitely saves time.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, but I didn't vocalize it in our team chat.
I figured it would be pretty tight with how close they were together.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Cow looking
Yeah,
even cleaner.
Oh, Cow gets that there.
So that's really nice.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a nice run.
Nicely done, Cal. If anybody's still wondering why I took 3.5 minutes, it was the twirly.
But how could you waste 3 minutes?
God, I just want to mention, I was so unbelievably happy when Arb told me he had something else, because I tried to do that twirly. I tried to do any twirly as man for like a solid 5 minutes and could not get it once.
Fishy doing it a little differently.
But
But we have
there's some
another
sauce
show.
here. There's some sauce here.
Turns out that there's a backtrack that's very slow.
Doing the light
And if
to
you
get
can
on that wall,
just
you go
avoid
faster in
it.
tasks.
You can do this really disgusting super
What the
and just be
frick?
done.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I didn't go for this in the last couple hours of the challenge for reasons.
But you
That's
could
pretty crazy.
Yeah, Avenged and Yoko were joking about this going to a 15. Well, it turns out it actually can go to a 15.
Yeah, I was like, if you could just cut out this right side, you save like 10 seconds. No, not quite that amount, but a very substantial amount of time.
Our next map, based on a DLC 3 practice level called Lunar Cavity. You may notice some similarities, such as the ceiling at the start, the piano, the zigzaggy stuff. This is probably all the same. The earth in the background, that got moved over here and changed to something else. No more climb section. But you'll see a few similarities in the invert.
You know, so they didn't
We
hold
might as well start with the
section.
invert plus on this one for fun. And also the same music. Because that did not get changed.
I could not be bothered. You're lucky that map's playable at all, considering I didn't want to make a map.
We'll start with the
Anybody
invert
that had
plus
to play it,
here
I'm sorry.
for the adventure.
This was a cool invert plus.
Yeah, kill 20 apples. Let's see. So we had 20 people got kill 20 apple completions. And unfortunately 5 of them missing out. Or no, 6 of them, just kidding. JVC again not fast enough. This was for 115 for this one.
Oops.
We'll check out No Face's run. The person who created the category here. Skipping the first apple, pretty important. Very vital. It turns out there are 23 apples in the run. There are a few that are right on top of each other that may or may not have confused a few people. I don't really know the full details of who got. But it's easy enough to figure out when you look into it.
I really love the movement on the right side there. You just kind of like go in and out of the cliffs.
Yeah, the wiggle.
Yeah.
That apple in the same spot as the original lure cavity, pretty sure.
I'm glad no one did like a challenge on this because it feels like it'd be awful to try to optimize the wiggle.
But you did your best to try to make there be a challenge.
But not on
Getting a
this. Ooh. Yo, that's a cute clip.
That's a fun note.
And bonus death zone up there. Dropping 1 apple though.
Oh, this is why it's
Waiting
just
until
looking at it. Oh, that's
and
so
sliding
funny.
into the death zone. Or not, actually. I forgot about that one. So yeah, that's what's required.
That's our goat.
Including the standing still at the end. Let's see some people do it faster. What are some good ones people might have done here?
Mine was the first invert plus.
Alright.
I don't think it was particularly good though.
Good volunteering. Woo! We'll just see if it's any significantly different and then see the other ones. Probably the same kind of route. Oh. Speed it up a little.
So who got stuck in jail?
Oh, too many times to count.
Which of the 2 jails?
The upper one. I don't know which one the other one is.
There's one like at the end of the apple route, and then one by the heavy prism.
Fishy
That I'm
not
aware
falling
of.
for the bait.
No one got me in. I said
There was a chance. Going straight to the right side. Looks pretty smooth. You can see that there are actually 2 apples here, if you look closely, or look at the combo count. Fishy almost stuck a little bit. Going to the right, falling right on top of this.
Ow.
Fishy also clipping, catching up to Big Diesel, but Big Diesel ends the other way.
This isn't the end.
All right.
I like that ending with the clip into the hit them all into that death zone.
A boss with sub 1 minute though.
It's a completely different character, nonetheless.
Who wants to juggle with Worth though? Literally couldn't be me.
Apparently, A-Boss does.
Just jumping. Still doesn't know how those zips work. But definitely knowing where that apple is.
What?
Yo, what the?
What?
One heavy. Knowing the perfect number, just kidding.
I like how you can see the other apple just falling barely off screen there.
All right.
Sick.
But this is a man map.
So is the ceiling good, guys?
We're about to find out. Do you know anyone that goes for the ceiling, JVC?
No. Paul. I think Paul does.
What ceiling are we talking about here?
Oh, I did the
You should go for like all the ceilings.
So we had 25 red keys. The requirement was 12.25. This was the second most red keys. So second easiest one next to Blossoming Leaves, but eclipsed by it quite a bit. Paul got gold, which was 13 seconds. Let's see what these intended strats may be.
Oh, let's go, the ceiling.
The ceiling from
behind the apples.
I based my run off Dill, but Dill doesn't take the fucking ceiling. But I was like, JVC said the ceiling's faster, so I just did the rest faster.
I can't believe. That's crazy, actually.
In my defense, hold up. In my defense, I said the ceiling and lunar cavity was faster.
Ah, yeah, dude.
You also said it was faster.
Diabolical.
The map, though.
We had a challenge here between Nerdy and
Well,
Patch, which was pretty close. They went back and forth a bit.
Wow,
Both
I
of
got one
them
light.
newer to challenges, I think, for the most part.
I believe this was Patch's first DLC.
Yep.
And Nerdy's second? Was she in the last one?
Yep.
Yeah, she was on Worthless.
Both of them getting into the silvers.
Sick.
Patch with the lead.
That's the done patch.
We had a couple more challenges here, but those were in the top 6. So we'll get to those ones later. Here's what was required for a red key.
Everybody above me on the leaderboard is so lucky I took the ceiling.
Yeah.
God fucking damn it.
Too true, dude. Too true.
Bamboo with another red. A little bit of a ground boost there. Could this be the secret?
Wait.
What do people not? What do people know about burrito cavity?
What do you mean, wait?
Oh, wait.
What do people know about burrito cavity that Chipotle themselves
You're telling me
don't
that
know?
my hit rise storage strat wasn't the answer?
Oh boy.
A bounce with a sub 12. Getting a ground
second.
boost.
You
Look
can
at
get
that
a
lead.
ground boost here?
Brother. What do you mean?
Who the fuck made this dog shit map?
Dude, I want to say, I can't believe Heavy didn't have the hit rise storage strat. I had no idea you could get an apple run as fast as you
Oh,
could.
don't worry. I'm talking about a new one. A second one.
I know.
Oh, okay.
I'm just bringing it up because you brought up hit rise storage.
I see.
Skipping into red 3, Quantum. With the ground
Wait,
boost.
what the fuck? There's... What the fuck? You can ground boost there?
They is winning, Paul. Are you sure about that?
Have you looked at the sheet recently?
Back to
Have you looked at
Chipotle.
your challenge recently?
What are they doing for red 3?
Yeah, fuck that.
We're winning. That's what.
I didn't need the challenge.
Alright, let's see JBC's run.
I didn't do
What?
the hit rise, but Camel did.
Okay, what could possibly be this hit rise storage strat?
It's
And how
fast,
it-
bro.
Is it?
Yeah. My
Let's
run
see.
has a
Okay.
bad ending, too.
Not going for the ceiling though, so that's nice. But, you know, losing a little time at the start.
What?
Brother.
Arb also not doing the heavy. Because heavy's
My downlight
sometimes
strats
slow.
through like 0.2 or something like that.
Idle and Ouijo, both on a challenge here. Idle bringing it to a frame tie at the buzzer.
What the? Did Idle just do an empty light after hitting the double light?
Yeah,
Camel's
that's a
also
little
taking the
interesting.
end boost. I just want to call him out.
Wait, what?
I had to yell at him for like 3 days to stop taking it.
Wait, is that still in his run?
No, it's not.
Okay, I was about to say, did I really just lose to that?
No, he finally stopped.
Ouijo with the challenge win. Crying this quite a bit. Camel, unfortunately, on Team Chipotle, blinded, didn't know what to do at the start.
Camel did my hit rise storage strat though.
Alright, what is this? Okay, dude. Okay, dude.
We'll see if anyone
I will
else does
admit-
it. But
I will admit that does actually look fast.
yeah,
It is.
it's pretty fast.
Uh,
But the general point of it is you get hit rise storage from immediately grabbing the ceiling after hitting that first the last bottom prism down there. And then that actually puts you above the ground before you can land. And then you don't have to go through jump squat. Maso beating Wazi in a challenge here. Both of them fought really hard over that one too. But Fishy is the real challenge winner. Saving on the beginning somehow. Doing a heavy. 2 slope jumps.
oh yeah, the slope jump in the middle here is pretty smart. It probably only saves like a frame, but Pretty smart.
It was very little, and I found it incredibly hard personally.
Arb going for the ceiling bonk.
Oh, that's
Top
the
11.
Sasha was doing that too.
Yeah, JVC tried that a little bit, but could only.
I kept MHBing. Yeah.
Honestly, a good problem to have.
I got like 6 MHBs before getting it once, and I was like, I'm fucking done with this.
We'll see if I
Also
can quickly take over at the end here.
The hit right storage thing wasn't like crazy hard, but I just didn't want to bother after having such a hard time with this map anyways.
I think if I lighted like a frame later and just you probably have to like light a frame later or something.
Yeah, I lighted a frame later.
Yeah, that actually makes so much sense.
Yeah, I found it on accident. I'm gonna go.
All right, so I get over this at 6:07 is when the clip is. You mantle and you're over it at 6:03. What could it mean?
Was it bad?
What could it mean?
Wait a minute. Wait. All right, now I'm really out of here.
You could have done it a little bit better, maybe, but you know, maybe a little slower. Wouldn't have had the dash jump from as far away. Gotta lose speed. To
Dude, why
save
would
time.
Camel grind's a bad strat? Camel's so stupid, man.
Oh god.
What a griefer.
Yep. Next
I
we got
bet he didn't
Arms
even
Man.
ground boost at the start.
Yeah, so true, dude.
So Realloc, based on the Go-To map series. Go-To 1000, the first of 7 in this series by Arb. Map notes say H. But
yep, they
the
say
Oh, there's
2019
the
map.
challenge on the last map.
Did I miss a challenge? Oh yeah,
It's low percent, yeah.
Low percent one. I'll show that one in a moment. But yeah, 2019 map from Arb. This is what we could have played, but we didn't play it. We played a remix of it. But first, a challenge on low percent, which I think was there any percents as well or not?
You can check.
I think they were.
No,
I'd be
neither of those were
surprised.
low percent.
They're not.
Oh.
They were both around 10 seconds.
Right.
Santa having to turn on the low percent leaderboard.
Yeah, I'll just I might as well just keep this on. Dill was the real winner of this challenge. So we had a challenge between True Noob and DCBC. I think True Noob called out DCBC originally for this one. Found a route and was like, let's get at it. So that might look a little strange. The challenge of low percent involves you have to dodge this one dust over here, and there's a lot of stuff you can do out of bounds. Worth makes it a little easier than Man though, so Worth able to jump around it more easily. Even if you don't land on that slope. Died to the death zone. Yeah, we have a death zone here that kills apples. But I also did witness some people do stuff like this at the end. They hit one heavy, then they're like, "Oh, well, let me jump and hit the other one." Whoops.
Oh. Should have taken the boost.
Yep.
It sets up the heavy.
It does. Intended.
Yeah, dude.
But that was not the only low percent challenge. We also had low percent on Realloc between originally Quantum and Alex, but Heavy joined the fray and was like, "Wow, that's easy. I can beat that run." So here's what
Heavy didn't get to defend himself. He's been gone.
Oh god. Don't do low percent on this level, people.
Quantum taking the bait from Arb. But Heavy was the one that got baited by there just being one man run on the leaderboard. Being like, I can just beat that. Why would you play man on this level? Quantum with one setup Jor. Let's watch that one again.
Zoom out for it. It does help.
Oh, what?
The blind dwarf dash jump. Oh,
This guy plays Kilo any percent.
that's what I'm saying, dude.
Okay.
Alex was something a little different.
What?
Yo, what the hell?
What are you
That's wild.
So,
What?
similar start to Heavy. And Heavy was doing this for a little bit too, funnily enough.
So he deadlegs to neutralize.
Yeah, dodges the spike.
Taps right.
Tab left.
That's crazy.
Well, down dashing.
Decides to do a light here though. Like this.
Yeah, I need to get all the runs I can get.
Jump, jump. Jump, jump.
Yeah.
And then you don't even need that other Jor.
Oh, that's crazy, actually.
That route is so stupid.
If only Heavy
That's
thought
really
of that.
cool, Alex.
What the?
Yeah, I love how none of these use the spike that I accidentally left off.
I did.
Oh, that wasn't on purpose?
Oh, I have a kid route. But
I
you
kept
said-
telling Heavy to
I
just
sent you a replay, Xander.
Yeah, so I've been
wall
I've been
run
sent,
ledge
like
cancel on it.
10 replays about this without labels for how long they are. So give me a couple minutes and I'll have a bunch more replays about this to say. Just give me a moment.
Mine are like longest to shortest.
For mine, I would start with. So I can send them to you in
Nah, I got a list.
like reverse order.
I got a list. Don't worry.
So I unfortunately had to make a concession here. The first day, I was trying to do a down dash dwarf instead of the setup, and I was hitting it fairly consistently. I hit it like 4 or 5 times in an hour, and I was like, oh, yeah, this route's viable. And then I've hit it 4 or 5 times in the following week and a half since then.
You kid.
The extra charge probably helps a bit.
Yeah, I didn't think about using that dwarf at all.
It sucks because it's blind. So this is the route I was going to go for with the ledge cancel because it saves like another, I don't know, half a
We'll watch
second.
that one again. Alright, here's another. One more drawer.
And then add another Jorf so you get more speed, and then do a dash jump into that.
But let's save another 0.3. With,
How do you save more time? Oh, wait, what?
Yeah, with the corrupted.
Oh, probably broke.
Oh well. Just do it as worth, as you can tell.
Alright. I do have a 3.3 that.
Yeah, that's the one I'm trying to show. That one's corrupted.
Uh,
So if you can,
33.
Yeah, if you can send another version of that,
Yeah.
that'd be good.
I think this is the 33.
Alright. So you had one that was 2 frames faster than this, but it didn't work.
Yep.
That's crazy.
It was a crazy route though, Alex.
Yeah, I think if you had run much lower, like under 4.3, I would have given up completely.
Like I said, I spent a week trying to get the down dash dwarf in there and had 0 luck. So
that
had to
Heavy
make a
did say
concession.
he was gonna add that next, but he was only gonna get like lowish 4. He said something in like Trash Talk, I think, that like or maybe his own team channel, like if they don't get like 4 point.
Yeah, I think it might have been our channel.
But Alex did beat whatever time Heavy said, so it's for the better. So it worked out in the end. Alright. But Realloc, the normal level, doesn't require as many dwarfs, fortunately. We have... Let's see. Alright, so red 1 was a 14-second requirement, and gold 1 was 15 seconds. There were 37 people that got gold, 21 people that got red. Out of the first 3 levels, this was the easiest, most achieved red. Otherwise, it's behind Burrito. But it was a bit harder in the gold tier for everyone else. Yeah, one of those levels where it's just a bit challenging in that kind of mid-high level, right under red, to just get all the strats.
Or get all the dust.
Yeah, it's
that was
pretty
that was a big
difficult
one.
to go slow.
Air
Arrow
with
with the
15 on
exact
the
gold.
I feel like it's very much the type of level where you either you go slow and you get like barely a gold key, or you just do all the strats and then you eventually just get like really close to a red key.
Yeah, I just went slow and barely got a gold key, so that kind of tracks.
Air with the best representation of the gold key requirement that I've seen so far, doing like the most intended looking stuff without having to do all of the faster stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of what I imagined a gold, like a logo would look like.
Yeah,
That's
that was a very
cool to
good
have that there.
representative replay. Only one worth PB in the group. Originally, I was expecting this to be a worth level until the ending changed a little bit, making dashing across more doable. But worth should still be very, very close for the level requirement.
Yeah, I lost the tasks for this, but man, girl, and worth were all like within a frame of each other. So, and I'm sure it really could go either way there.
But if you take out the top level dashing across the ending stuff as much, that's where worth suddenly shines.
I could have sworn I told you, Tim. If I didn't, that's my bad.
You told me that you did. So I did not think that 3 dashes were still possible. Or reasonable, rather. But 3 dashes in the final soaps, that's tough. You gotta be spaced well for it. But at a certain point, it's definitely required. Not required for red though. You know, you can see a lot of people. Bamboo and No Face with more reds here. Magma Peach with another one. Let's check out Wazi's run.
Yeah, at least for me, it's a round where you start to break into the red, where you at least want to start trying to go for it.
Wazi with some big heavies. Alright. Red 2.
A lot more heavies on that than I expected.
Wazi and Alex on the same team, both on opposite sides of the red 2 requirement. Alex just shy of red 3. Slowly incorporating some of the faster stuff. Just enough for 10th though. Idle was part of the original push on this level by V-Ceilings quite a bit. They were doing really well early on the level. They kept pushing it down. Getting a good dash to the left out of that boost. We'll see if
Okay, we found that like final day. Nighthawk had 1 frame behind Fishy before I found that, and I was like, oh, I am so sorry. I found your time save now after we've been grinding.
Well, Nighthawk did bot Fishy by 2 frames in the end, so it added up. Tim was part of the 4-way challenge between Wazi himself, 52 pickup, Indapop, and Nighthawk. Indapop actually had record for a long time here, pushed it the most earliest. But the surprise would be Nighthawk in the end. There was another 4-way challenge that I accidentally skipped over between Paul, Glass, Temp, and Avenged. Avenged actually won that challenge. Got 22nd.
Let's go.
Huge.
Temp was at 24th, Paul's at 25th, Glass at 26th, so all of them right there.
Actually, wow, that's really close.
Yeah, very impressive. Actually spanning a sizable amount of time, but within frames of each other at the top.
Yeah, I want to point out as well, Temp has had that run since like the 2nd day.
Yeah, this is the kind of level Temp to play for sure. Avenged getting a little revenge for the round 1.
Yeah,
Yeah,
turns it.
we'll have to sort it out in round 3.
Will there
this
be
time
a
the
round
Kappa
3 challenge?
Yeah, this time the Kappa Curse beat the Hex.
You can't curse us, we cursed you.
Fishy a little behind in some of the boosts, but with a much better dash jump to the left. And it's close at the end.
I thought with a 14-2. Or 13-2.
Yeah, red 4. Watch that one again, then the ARB replay.
Oh, I don't have. Yeah, this one does not.
Oh,
have
this is the other corrupted one. Never mind.
Yeah. Yep. That happened a lot to me this week. Don't know why.
I gotta take off, but on Grass Rash, Camel and I do something different, just so you know.
Alright.
Alright, later, everybody.
Later.
I think it is grass rash time. Wild grass rash.
Oh, there is the invert on that, yeah.
Oh yeah, just kidding. Doing it in reverse order throws me off sometimes. Can't just go right to left.
Right.
Pretty cool invert here. This is the first use of Pokermans in DLC, and a surprisingly good fit for it. Just SS was required for the invert, which there are a few people that took their time for it. Or actually, I'm looking at the wrong ones. There it is. Let's see. "25 seconds was the invert plus requirement. We had 16 people get that. Most people playing Kid, following the lead of Arb, who got it pretty quickly. But it was definitely possible to do as all characters. So in Pokermans, you gotta touch all the dust. Can't attack it. And your light attacks are replaced by throwing a ball and then catching the enemies, which does give you your jump back, which can be a bit awkward, but there's a decent amount of space in this level to that. Some parts, like here at the top, you gotta be careful. You don't want to like ceiling run into spikes. But you can throw some extra balls at the end.
Isn't that how it goes? Just standing there.
Just waiting. Kid with that extra air charge, able to simplify touching the dust most of the time. And making it easier to jump to the rest of the places in the level. So ultimately one of the easier inverts and invert pluses. Yeah, it's a little bit unique, so good to have a nice light-hearted one. Let you learn the plugin and enjoy it. We got a man run from Air Bear.
Singular man run in top 10.
Landing by the checkpoint.
This actually looks a lot like safe wood key struts.
Few extra lights at the end too. Wood key on this level is a 30, by the way. Wood 3 is a 20. Fishy's record, 16.6. That'd be enough for a silver 2. Fishy's the only one that would earn silver. Arb with more extra ball throws.
Wow,
Showing
what
that
a
you're
bounce
not
shot.
punished. Alright.
Aw, didn't hit the Jork at the end.
What does Fishy do? Are these calculated throws? No, they're not.
Yo! This is peak Pokerman gameplay right here.
Wonderful.
With a little pachinko action at the end.
I'm glad that the trick shot ended up in my run there.
Yeah, good category. Wild Grass Rash. Let me show you the original map for this. It was just titled Grass Rash in the past. It had the same type of secret as well. So, you know, you can see the same kind of theming going on. But the Death Warp is up there for the apple, then you gotta go a little bit farther back. So, the older map's a little bit more like Hideout and a little bit harder and longer.
Oh god. This apple route looks so much harder.
Yep. This one was a little bit more particular about it. But this one was another one that I actually expected to see a little more Worth representation on. Let's see what Worth record is. 17-4. We actually did get 2 Worth runs from Kappa Crew in the final day, right?
Yep.
Nice.
Well, I think Tim's was yesterday.
Alright.
Yeah.
I thought this was going to be a Worth record, because I still think it's Worth favored, personally. Because, I mean, we'll see why, I guess.
There was a challenge on this one, too.
Yeah, 17.75 is red 1. Not too many reds, 15 of them. Gold 1 was 19. There were no gold 3s. Everyone that went for sub 18 also went for red. But gold 1 in the 19 seconds, 38 golds. Pretty high number there. With a few people getting a 19 on the dot. For challenges on this level, let's see. We do actually have 3 challenges. 2 of them on the normal leaderboard. And then 1 on the Apple Essence. That's kind of the baseline gold run, but we're gonna back it up a bit and watch some slower runs. We have a hotly contested Phantom Mat versus Northgate. 50 versus 49. So right next to each other. Showing that the level is pretty difficult.
Rolling through.
Yeah, despite you know, a lot of people being capable of the golds, sometimes it's not just about, you know, who can get the highest keys. You gotta fight for them on these hard levels. There's a lot of spikes this round. Ouija not getting that that gold actually. Could have been a team point right there. Northgate with a fateful wall jump, saving a lot of time over Phantom at the end there. clinching another challenge for Wildlife Wranglers. The other challenge also won by Wildlife Wranglers in the end. Here we had DCBC Mitesh getting a little bit of a rematch with DCBC from round 1. And Foxy was the third person winning it for Wildlife. See some faster strats come out.
I just want to say, even though it looks like Kappa Crew had a lock on like the worst strats, Mitesh actually didn't have a replay to work off of until like the last day, so this is like all his own routing basically.
Cool.
Yeah, in fact, I was actually not sold on Worth until Tim started finding stuff. So, shout outs to Tim and Sheila for pushing the Worth route.
I don't remember what Aki's thought about this, but I was pretty convinced this was the worst level from the start. Where's the other one? There it is. All three of these people playing Worth, actually. Foxy with the only gold here, and the challenge win. Let's see another Worth run in the golds. Alright, cleaning it up. But let's see why most people are playing man. Or girl in this case. With a red key time, we have Nighthawk. With a few better boosts. Better spacing on the jumps for man and girl. Top 10 Alex here.
This one was right before the deadline.
Oh yeah. Contributing to the level points.
Yeah. It would have been tied first if not for Camel's one.
Yeah, Camel went for the kill. But if you didn't get it, then you guys would have had the lead. Wazi, same team as Alex. See Idols run. Also doing that downlight. A bit different in the right corner there. It might be an execution difference in addition to the strat difference. A little unclear which one actually saved time. Just from those two. Arb with some lights. Everybody on top of each other until the end. But they are all frames apart. $52 pickups saving 1 frame over Arbasworth. That's what I
Let's go
expected.
Tim.
Alright, this is looking like... This is close to the strats that I was doing. Back to man. Chipotle thought that they had all the strats on this level for quite a while, and rightfully so, considering JVC and Camel's collective lead on the level for a while. Only being challenged in the end by Fishy, but these worth runs from Kappa Crew did make it close right at the end. But there are 2 different worth strats that I can think of that I did differently. And that's why I still think Worth has the advantage.
What?
I think JVC had a record for the longest time on this level. And went back and forth with Fishy a little bit, but as Fishy eloquently put it in Trash Talk, what do you say exactly was one word?
Let's see.
Owned? That's the one.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, Fishy destroyed JVC. And this is the run to do it. With a down heavy there. And different attacks. I'm gonna watch those last 2 with Ghost just for themselves.
Yeah, let's see where the frame was.
Owned.
Both doing pretty similar routes. It just looks like Fishy was cleaner for the ending.
Yep.
Those final
Yeah, I was gonna say, they were
sequences.
basically on top of each other the entire run.
Yeah. You can't really summarize it better than that. Alright, cleaner starting climb. Alright, there's a good strat. I was wondering if anyone would do that. Cool. I'll see it again. Some tighter ledge cancels adding up for sure. And then the extra slope jump to a ceiling boost. If there was any strat that made me think man might have a chance, it was that one. Happened so fast? Well, happened so fast, happened twice. Already.
Yeah, I couldn't get the that slam boost to line up with man, so I probably missed something in there. But this might actually go sub 16 in test then. Not from the slam boost itself, but I had found other things that I never quite resynced. Anyway, on to this.
Yeah, the challenge of the round here for the invert category. Avenged, JVC, Skyhawk, and Cow participated, but that's not who we initially expected. Originally Epon soft leaked that he had a map in the wings at some time right before round 2 started, and was like, yeah, he wanted to do some kind of challenge with JVC, and wanted to think about apple juggling, and they started talking about like, yeah, maybe worth apple juggling, you know, that sounds fun. And then I think Cow was the first person to join in on that, but then unfortunately Epon dropped out of the challenge, couldn't quite commit to it after all, and then Cow was like, let's get Skyhawk. Something like that happened. So then JVC's just like, okay, well, I guess I'm fighting Cow and Skyhawk here.
The Kappa crew as well.
Yeah.
And then I happened to talk in the chat at the same time. He's like, oh, thanks for volunteering. I'm like, sure.
Yeah, Avenged falling for a little bit of bait in the category, but did keep it very close. You see the apple route there. JVC
I don't think it was that much of bait.
Beat it by a little bit. I'm gonna...
I had faith I could beat JVC.
Definitely.
I just ultimately fell short.
Yeah, but you won the other challenge.
I won my other 2 challenges, which is the important thing.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Sick.
But as you can see, the point here... Yeah. As you can see, the point here is you got a low percentage, get to the death warp, which if you die to a death zone before getting combo.
Oh my god, Skyhawk.
Skyhawk last to the death warp.
Why? That's so slow.
But he will make it up with the apple juggle, and already is. With a little bit less apple juggling.
Yeah, the Master of Apples at it again.
Catches the ceiling there, a little slow. But this is definitely in Skyhawk's wheelhouse, except that there's a lot of not apple juggling as well. So going in order, JVC and Avenged locked out.
Except Ghost can go through walls. Ooh.
Yeah, zoom out a little bit.
My god, Skyhawk.
What?
Really pushing it with the dust he decided to leave for himself.
Oh wait, yeah, I didn't even
Yeah,
think
seriously.
about that. That combo timer is really tight if you do that.
Dropping a little at the end. The player is also showing a unintended little bonus. Why not just go get the original size scale reset trigger?
Yeah, that's really helpful for the ending.
Yeah. Not required for Invert Plus, certainly makes it easier though. So I think everybody figured that out. Or at least every team figured it out. Cal first to the apple.
Makes so much sense.
Smoothest on that turkey.
Oh, very nice.
Definitely looking more intended. Also gets the pork right there. Pretty smooth.
Okay, next apple challenge, I'm clearing everybody.
Alright.
I didn't really think about doing kind of the setups the way they're doing them. They're doing kind of the opposite of what I'm doing. I get the apple somewhere and then hit it, and they're hitting the apple somewhere, then getting themselves somewhere. Yeah, Kyle kinda running away with it.
Yep. He did win by about 5 seconds. Almost choked the ending.
Oh my god.
Oh.
I just want to point out that ending is so scary. It is a lot of tough stuff right at the end of like a minute and a half IL.
Secret boss fishy. Just got a good run. No big deal. Maybe doing some of the strats for Skyhawk in advance. Fastest to the apple.
That's a good pace.
Does the same stuff that Skyhawk did. But left a lot more dust. Catches up to Cow.
Ooh.
Despite
Even
taking his time.
feeling.
Oh, good save. Good
Bro,
adjustment
how did
too.
you save that? Fishy's insane.
First to the second apple, so it must all go away here somehow. Well, I mean, he still wins, but
I'm curious what he's gonna do about the ceiling coming up, because you definitely can't get it on the boost. Ah, can if you just slow down, huh?
there's that.
Yeah, because that ceiling was like the one big thing I wanted to not get while I was small. Because that
Alright.
ceiling is like really dumb small.
Clean ending. Continuing to go backwards. We're gonna keep going backwards. We'll go into the invert here. What could possibly be the hardest invert plus we've ever had in a DLC.
Oh,
but
yeah.
it was a bounty, so there's a little allure to it. There's a let's see, there are 9 people that got invert plus here. So that's the smallest amount so far on anything. But still very close. I mean, Fast SS last time had 11, I believe. But every team had to figure this one out. It was execution and a bit of a puzzle.
Yeah, I've been really looking forward to seeing Camel's run on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to know what the hell Camel did to get a sub 110 as kid.
Alright, so for the invert bounty, Camel defeated Big Diesel by 28 seconds. Big Diesel got his submitted his replay 28 seconds later. They both would go on to improve their levels a little bit. But let's watch Big Diesel's run. Didn't get invert plus, which was 210. But you know, it's a hard one. So
Yeah.
the interesting thing here, similar to how in Overhang there was a little bit of a misdirection in terms of if you just try to any percent it, you're not gonna think about what if I have super at this part. Well, if you just try to SS this level, you might be playing Kid with no dash. And there are a few parts where you're thinking that you need to get super. There are a few parts where, like, you know, you get to this part in their level, and you're like, okay, well, this is just straight up difficult. Can you even keep combo through this section that has no dust without super? And that's something that needed to be solved for each of those little problem sections. Not all of them were required for invert plus. You know, super is still like it's still an option, and you're gonna get super at some point anyway. But it definitely, even with super, it is not easy to keep combo, as everybody found out. Now what's interesting is Camel's run that got the invert. Although he beat Big Diesel by 28 seconds, his time was 38 seconds faster than Big Diesel, which means that Big Diesel started his run first, and Camel just beat him.
Diesel was playing it really safe here to like just get a run up, just for like the bounty.
Yep.
Ended up backfiring, unfortunately, but that was the goal basically, was just get something on the board.
It actually is just like a really funny coincidence.
Yep. There's also a very subtle art difference between the two levels.
Yeah, the first runs of this that we had, we just super farmed everywhere, and by we I mean Diesel did.
The third person to get the invert, just an SS on the level, was A-Boss, who actually played Worth. So I said that, you know, Kid makes sense to figure out invert for, but it's a challenge for every team. Like, do I stay as Kid and keep grinding it down as Kid to what could be no avail, or do I switch to Worth? Do I try out Worth? And there's a few people that started as Worth. Like Wildlife Wranglers started as Worth. But there was one person that stuck to Kid, and that was Camel, who was the winner for the Invert Plus.
Yeah, and speaking from my team's experience, we didn't really even consider Worth like a viable thing until we saw like a 213 by Alex. And we were like, oh, maybe we should be doing Worth. Maybe Worth is actually just better.
Our team chat was like hoping, nah, dude, Worth, there's no way Worth can make it. It's gotta be
Yeah, that
Kid.
was basically us. Like, it has to be Kid. There's no way it's not Kid.
Camel getting one super so far. Could have been grinding for super along the way.
Okay.
To be fair, you know, could have gotten super and kept a little bit more momentum. So that's only one little mistake. But
Right.
why
So
does
he does
Camel
put the
get
two super
super
out.
again? He gets another one.
Bro, what? How did he get sub 210 with this?
One mistake.
Bruh.
There's no
there
way.
ain't no way.
But Camel does skip this super.
Oh, he did this. Okay.
Yeah, that's really fast, but there ain't no way this is sub 210.
And this was a close one too. It really could have gone either way
Oh,
between
bad.
Alex or A-Boss and Camel.
Cat Harp, I guess we just got execution diffed.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
There's some strats that could have been figured out to make Kid a little easier. And you can skip, I'm pretty sure Kid can skip each of the supers. Maybe not the one in the middle, but I know I've skipped the first super as Kid.
The first
and
one
it's
is
tough.
the one we were having a lot of trouble with. I know
I was convinced
Yoko...
you could do it with like better than what I could come up with, but slightly. I got close,
Yeah.
so I was convinced.
Yeah,
that
I
Camel
admittedly,
couldn't have found
yeah,
it.
I admittedly didn't really have time to lab because like while the bounty was happening, I think I was still doing the overhang
Yeah.
bounty, right? So I couldn't quite get onto this immediately.
but we had like several hours after that.
Yeah.
Alex was the second person to get the Invert Plus bounty. Starts by going right. Get a little bit more
A
speed.
questionable strat, you know, we'll see if it works out for him.
No, it's definitely faster. We had Ouija in the call, timing that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Like, you want that
It's
walk
not
speed across
tough,
pretty large.
Oh.
Nice.
A-Boss and I were both playing Worth and we realized at some point that we had saved different supers. So
really?
we needed to combine our routes, and then we had something pretty good.
Yeah, so this is kind of the big thing with Worth, is that you can save the supers a lot more easily than you can on Kid.
But it's
Yeah,
slower
I
to
mean,
fog.
I knew-
A lot more easily.
Yeah, I knew you could save this one. Just I never felt like going for it in an actual run. It felt so dangerous to skip this one. Oh. Spooky.
I still can't believe Camel got the Kid run. With 2 supers.
Okay, there's actually still some strat variants here, huh? Interesting.
Yeah,
we
there's
were
still
just
quite a
so
bit of
convinced
strat
that
difference.
2
between runs.
super was just cursed to never sub 210. That ending is always really scary as well.
Yeah, it really is. I lost the run. It was a 209 something that was an SA that dropped combo like on the frame that the heavy hit at the ending. Alex gaining speed from the better looks.
Yeah, you doing
Yeah,
extra
yeah.
attacks too. Arb was 3rd place in the bounty. It ended up taking a few hours before Camel got it. And then it was like 30 more minutes before Alex got it. And then a few more hours before Arb got it. There have been inverts in the past that have been longer to achieve, but I mean when there's a bounty attached, it doesn't usually actually take that long when you're actually racing for it.
Right.
But an appropriate surprise bounty on this level. Cutting it close, just like Alex. So what did people think of the harder bounties this time around?
I enjoyed them.
A little bit more challenging.
It was definitely very fun to continue labbing things with teammates. I think it might be the type of thing where after we've done like 1 or 2 of them, it might get more interesting. Just like knowing to do things like try different characters, see if stuff works out.
Yeah. Let's get the Nighthawks replay.
Yeah, let's see what this is.
What the hell did Nighthawk do for a 202?
Also doing the backlog. I like how I'm just like a full second behind at the start here.
Yeah, Nighthawk with the 1 super route.
Very cool. Yeah, that was a strat I was always scared to go for. Oh, he gets a sleds over there. Nice.
Both Chipotle and Wildlife Wranglers, each with 3 members of their team.
Oh, that's a sick setup.
Very
to
cool.
get the invert pluses.
Oh,
good
and that
landing.
makes so much sense. Yeah, Nighthawk is just a goat.
Nice.
Yeah, Nighthawk did have to save Chipotle from camel strats.
I didn't
that's
help
just
with the
like-
bounty. I stayed with Kit for the bounty.
Well, let's see what Ucky's had in mind. This is a segmented
Oh
run,
shit.
so not a legit run, just segmented. Notably behind Camel and Nighthawk. Yeah, as Ucky said in chat, this is what we were aware of at the time of deciding the bounty.
Oh my god. You don't even do anything fancy. You just do it.
Yep.
Oh my god, you're not farming a super. No.
Maybe we should have considered being Uckies.
Well, 1, this is segmented, and also 2, maybe for the bounty, you'll go for 1 super. But Ucky's does do a super there.
Oh, wild.
Interesting.
Getting a good landing on that flag round.
Wow.
Sub 2.
Very cool.
Now, unlike Overhang, we did not expect anyone to play or try it man and girl at all. We didn't even bother making sure it was possible. But no one bothered to play man girl on Overhang anyway. That's definitely just a worth category. I think I saw some claims back to Overhang that that one was worth only. I made sure that was possible as man.
Oh.
If anyone's interested. Let's see. So I think we're just down to the final leaderboard. No other side stuff here. The main event of sorts. I'm just closing some extra windows on the side that I don't need anymore. Reminder to do the map poll, by the way. I think that's pinned, right? Maybe not anymore. If not, someone link it in the chat. It's in announcements. But on depth, we had our long level of the round. The gold time was 77, 117. You just need an SS to get a wood key. In the code, that's technically a 1 million second run, but it shows up as 10,000 seconds. Because I need to put a placeholder time in there. 1 million seconds is technically something that you could still SS it within a million seconds within the time limit and not qualify for Wood 1. But I don't think anyone will want to do that. Silver 1 though, 1 minute and a half. No silver 3s. People just like to push for gold. To depth. Let's see. Air Bear once again on the cutoff. That's a tough one. What?
I don't know if 1 million seconds would be possible within the 2 weeks. It's 11 and a half days.
Yeah, I guess not.
Yeah, that's a good point. I honestly didn't even think about that.
I thought it was just under the amount of time, but didn't double check for a while.
I think it's just over.
Yeah. Definitely why I put
2
it.
full weeks.
Yeah.
It's either just over or just under, but I'm not going to do the math to figure it out. It would be really funny, though. Yeah, I played this map at the start of the week, and then kind of just never played it again.
Yeah, I did the opposite. I only played this today, which turned out to be a tragic thing of time management. But you know,
yeah, it happens. And unfortunate power outages.
Yeah, that sucked too.
Apparently,
But,
Camel's power went out too at some point.
Bro, everyone just yeah, power grid out here trying to sabotage DLC, you know.
But Bamboo repping wildlife. Good newcomer to the scene. Getting another key. Where is this? We had a few challenges on this level as well. We had Hasty, Dill, Yoko, and Iceheart Cake. Hasty didn't quite grind it as much as the others, unfortunately. But the other three were pretty close. Depth very similar to Desert in terms of one, how you're going to optimize around prisms, two, how you're going to optimize around boosts, but it is quite a lot more punishing in terms of the speeds that you can get from these boosts. Very challenging to do that, and on top of all that, there's spikes all of a sudden, and death zones. So, a bit divisive of a level. A lot of people liked it, a lot of people did not like this kind of gameplay in a DLC environment. But it was the main level of the week, so you have time to learn its intricacies, and if you're willing to set that aside and grind for the good of your team, that's what Dustforce is all about. That's what speedrunning is all about. And especially DLC, because it's for the team in this case. Yoko getting 20th. Worth 1 point. Dill's not worth 1 point.
Absolutely destroyed.
And Iceheart Cake winning it for Wildlife Wranglers. So, It's worth challenge points and it's worth leaderboard points. All something that the teams were contesting the whole round. Wildlife Wranglers did have the lead for a lot of stuff in round 2. But Chipotle is a very competitive kind of team. And they managed to do it again, widening their overall gap. You'll go behind for a good chunk of it until Dill kind of messes up near the end. Just doesn't get
watching
as good
this
a
back
speed.
now with the ghosts, I realized like just how bad my beginning actually was compared to what I could have done. But that's just long levels for you.
Yeah, the thing about long levels, you know, even over like 30 seconds long, everybody's making mistakes.
Yeah, this was definitely one of the cleanest like second halves I got in a run. So.
And we're gonna have another long level in round 3.
Woo!
So get ready for another long one. You know, how many mistakes are you gonna have in your long run? It's gonna be rough, you know. But you know, it's speedrunning. But there are always more levels. 6 other levels to fight over. Well, I'll talk a little bit about round 3 after we finish depth. I'm gonna have to reveal the map theme after all, because we have a new map theme again. IR Cake pretty solidly in the lead on this run though.
Yeah, just diffed pretty much most sections, it looks like. Really good run, actually.
Yeah, still a bit outside of the red requirement, which was a double check. Was a 111.0. No one in the 111s, incidentally. If they got a 111, they were pushing hard for the 110. But also, no one just under 111. Yeah, we haven't had a combat level yet either. I wouldn't be surprised to see a team level decide, you know what, we're gonna be the combat level. And every team's gonna say that, and then we'll have 4 of them.
Oh boy.
That's usually how the trends go in DLC. People are like, we just had a lot of boost levels, let's have climbing levels, and then every team makes climbing levels. But I have a feeling that the trend is not going to be, you know what, we need a combat level, says all teams.
Dude, if we get 4 Wise Oscillators, I'm just gonna like keel over and die.
I think we might have 1, but I think we're just as likely to have none still. They just tend to end up unpopular. But who knows, people might be like, I can make a good combat level, and I'll just be like, sure. Let's see it. Alright, if you say so. Cow keeping some good speed at the end. That final slam boost is pretty tough to get, depending on how you line it up. 14 people got the red key time here. We did also have a Tess versus JVC Girl SS challenge, but JVC ended up being able to grind this much harder than Tess.
Yeah, Tess still putting quite a lot of time into this one. Unfortunately, ran out of time.
Yeah, this wasn't for lack of trying, it's just very difficult.
Very difficult, yeah. Could have worked out better on a less intensive level. You know, something you don't have to be focused for over a minute. Few mistakes too. Getting extra dash though. Cow and Tess keeping pace through this middle section. Tess slowly getting the lead. Just kidding. Very close. So close, that was a 1-frame victory from Tess right there. Let's see, let's save 6 more frames.
Woo!
And we'll reset the ghost after this one. Kick it into the red 2. There were 2 other challenges in the top 10 here, as we're approaching top 10. We had Duck versus Plant, and Arb, Idle, and Fishy on the challenge. Arb not quite able to do it justice outside of every other level. But,
yeah.
You know.
It happens.
We'll check out his run next.
Gotta watch the clock more closely in round 3, it appears.
I'll put Wazi and Arb on the same one. I'll put Duck there too.
Yeah, I actually didn't realize that we were all like frames here.
Yeah, this will end up close at the end. We'll see how it goes. Duck did most of his attempts really early on.
Yeah, Duck spent his time near the end of the round today on more important things like all-starring one of the team levels.
Yeah. I am curious if Duck knew he was on a challenge, personally.
If he didn't mention it today.
Yeah, he did react to it, so.
Yeah, but he reacted to all the challenges.
That is true.
Wazi in the lead at the halfway mark. Pretty similar stuff. Wazi losing some speed again. Looks like it just comes down to that ending, and Duck with the spike jump ending. Can run 2 more. JVC winning the girl challenge. Music on Depth was made by Epon, originally for Togacium, which was a 2022 level. In Epon's Afterglow backpack, little Nexus. ended up being a pretty good fit for underwater as well. In fact, I was gonna have Epon do more level testing, but then he decided to join the team. Can't have that happen anymore, unfortunately. I just tend to limit the pre-made map level testers a little bit. But he was also making Wild Grass Rash already too.
The V-Ceilings trio.
Yeah, I'm gonna put these three together. Next 3 runs together are all from Team V-Ceiling, so we might see very similar routes. They were done at different times though, so we'll see. Plant winning the challenge over Duck, and Idle in the middle between Fishy and Arb. And then Maso just doing it because, you know, it's DLC. And you gotta do it. But helping out, Maso contributing a lot to coming up with strats for Team V-Ceilings. And Maso also with the general overall kind of best performance of the 3 this DLC. Just not on this map. Even though it's 5th, it's 3rd out of these 3. Mostly similar stuff coming out from them. I think each of them had something a little different here and there, including the ending. But those are those V-Ceiling strats. Fishy with record until the final minute and 8 seconds.
Yeah, the literal last minute.
A little bit behind, but we know how that goes.
Yeah. The Fishy Classic, as one would say. Well, not so much nowadays, but it certainly was a couple DLCs ago.
Looked like a little ECS there, intentional or not. Good dashes on that boost. Got the double. Slowly making up the time. Looks like the time is what clinches, or the climb is what clinches it for the lead. It's going to the left side also. 2 heavies. Three dashes on the slope. And the spike jump ending. However, for Chipotle, Camel manages to defend his level once again. Manages to get a 107, just like both he and I predicted at the before the map released. We thought record would be in the 107s. Has a lead in the first third of the level. The gap will close a little bit. We'll see where. Doing a much better climb route, but kind of losing a little after it. Looked like it wasn't as clean as it could have been. And also cutting corners there. A little bit less good of a boost in exchange for getting it much earlier. So it looks like Camel's the one with the route. And possibly a little mistake coming up at the end. At this rate. Only getting 2 dashes instead of 3, not really a mistake. All JVC trying to convince Camel that girl was faster until 5 minutes. Not sure about that one. Now instead of just a Lotad from Arb, we actually have a task challenge on this one, and unfortunately challenges weren't, you know, close enough for this to matter for team score. Otherwise I would have actually done depth first in the list, but I kept the taskers waiting until this moment to start talking about how good the task run is. And I'm gonna put Camel's Ghost on here as a bit of a baseline, but typically ghosts don't tend to work with tasks that well.
Right, yeah.
So give me a moment and I will look at, I need to get the list of task stuff together. Because even though these taskers, even though they made their tasks, they do not know the results yet. So I just gotta make sure I got all the replay links ready.
Yeah, we've all published our times obfuscated on the leaderboard, so no idea how everyone else did.
Yeah, usually in the past we've had much shorter tasks. So a long level to task is a very challenging task. Something that I'm sure a couple of them might regret a little bit about getting into, about agreeing to something like this. It's pretty time consuming when you test stuff. I think I don't really have that many extra replays to show this time, looks like.
A tinge of regret, but this is also the type of thing I like doing anyway, so.
Yep. I'm just making sure I'm not missing anything. Where's the replay? All right. So Camel's run was a 107.668 on the leaderboard. The first run we're gonna watch is Quantum's. Quantum ran out of time a little bit. We're gonna see a lot of unique stuff that is much more task viable. I'm sure these players are gonna have unique differences from each other in tasks. There's gonna be stuff like ECSs and Droofs, and maybe a Dwarf here or there, maybe an LSJ, maybe an RLJ. You know, no big deal. And when you got over a minute of all this stuff to go through, it's hard to think about all of the possibilities and try to pick what you think is fastest. We got MHBs. What other kinds of abbreviations can we throw out there? All the ones I've listed. I think we caught all the ones I listed are said so far.
Yeah, I think we've caught all the common ones anyway.
Yep.
And so Quantum with 105.517, catching a red 6, right? I think.
Had
Something
a
like
few IWJs.
True.
Yeah. Be fair, this is my first draft. It was rough.
Yeah, this took so long. I
Here's
think
a run
that took
from
a whole
Sasha.
day making one.
This one showing more frame advance kind of simplifications before it's quite published. So things like multiple down dashes and dashes, just to make sure that it hits in frame advance before putting it in some kind of editor, like the Dustard editor. I imagine that most people use that. I don't know if Quantum did.
I did this, and yeah. Yeah, I did this entirely in advance until I published today.
All right.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I did mine almost entirely, and then made one edit to save like 0.2.
Yeah, until there was that time save. I tried resyncing that I told you about Zonda. That didn't work out too well. Ooh, nice.
Lots of ideas there. Lots of differences.
Yeah.
103.768.
For the
768.
The next run though is Alex's. Unfortunately, as established, the ghosts aren't going to work. So if you guys want to compare segments yourselves, feel free. If you want me to slow down anywhere and explain anything, just, you know, say so, and I'll do that. Otherwise, we're just here to watch the show. Because there's a lot of stuff that I could explain.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
that's one of them. That's the important one with Alex's run to explain. You may have noticed Alex might have missed something.
Yeah, what was...
Works for me.
Yeah, it works for Alex. Alex got some Linux dust up there.
Interesting.
In there.
Oh, I didn't realize there was two as well.
Yeah, this is one of the only runs I've ever seen it happen twice. And this
That's
is not
crazy.
the only time we've seen it in DLC, let alone twice and in a task. Now, Alex did send me a little bit of proof that, you know, said it is SS, by the way.
Yeah.
So we do trust him. It's not that
Yeah.
big of a deal.
And I mean, and really, you know, if you heavy instead of light there, it's another point. It's another
It is
0.1 on.
faster.
But,
Yeah.
so like,
Yeah, but it would not have. It wouldn't have changed the results either way. Now, what I mean by Linux dust, it has to do with rounding errors, in terms of rounding differences between Windows and Mac and Linux.
Mhm.
That's really all it is. Turns out that Alex was just that close, and it rounded that way in Linux. Let me get the next replay. Alright. Here's another run from Sasha. Count the differences between Sasha's previous run and this run if you can remember them. You got a cool MHB and dash up there. More MHBs coming out. If anyone wants any of this kind of stuff explained, feel free to just say so in chat. I've explained plenty of them before, and sometimes they're more elaborate than others.
some LSJs, like climb.
A lot of slope surfs. We saw some of that last time too.
Ooh, good.
.651. And here we have Arb's replay. Doing subtle differences around there. It's hard for me to just judge which one's kind of faster. All we see is the end time at the end, really. are definitely the a very experienced DLC tasser at this point. Very used to making low TADs and tasses of a lot of different stuff in DLC. Usually on all the levels. And often a lot of dailies. And able to save, this was 4 frames over Sasha in the end. For first place in the challenge.
Oh, just enough.
Let's go.
Yeah, very close.
I'm really glad that that bit at the end made it into the final version. That's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, good
So
job, Art.
funny that's faster.
Yeah, GG's to you guys. That was a good one.
I tried to tease Arv a little bit by not saying that was Sasha's PB. Make him sweat a little. But I will, I'll add those challenge points in, or Rodent can. You can add those in manually. I'm sure you might remember how if you're still here. Otherwise, I'll do it.
Yeah, I'll get that. Yeah, I'll get it.
Cool. Yeah, pretty straightforward. So that does wrap up. That is the final replay. We'll watch it one more time. That does wrap up round 2. You guys can, you know, rewatch these yourselves. They're all published. Try to learn from them in frame advance. Yeah, I had to remember to not click on the PB events that were visible. Now, I did say that all of well, not all of. I did say that a big theme of DLC 7 maps was remixes, and that obviously played into the maps this round quite a bit. I mean, you saw that. Of all the pre-made maps, other than Desert and Depth here, they were remixes of previous maps. And I opened it up to teams for, you know, you guys can make remixes of stuff too. Well, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but Depth was actually a remix of Desert, which might imply a little bit for round 3. A little bit. So I'll let you guys kind of think about that. As far as I know, only one person has made a little discovery, and I'm not going to confirm anything, but you guys can just kind of do your silent eyes emojis and just kind of wonder what's going to happen. But you'll see on Thursday. Now, that aside, we do have a map theme to talk about. And I do want you guys to do the map poll. We'll look at the results of that too. The maps for round 2. If anyone has that link of the form read handy, just post it in the chat one more time. Do that if you haven't done it yet. And then we'll look at the results. Yeah, it could be Dark Forest. There it is. Alright, so now with that out of the way, the theme for round 3 is going to be remixes once again, but with another twist to it. Let me see OBS. So this upcoming Wednesday, October 23rd, is the 10th anniversary of the Community Map Pack. The theme this time is to choose one of the CMP levels and remix it.
Oh my god.
No.
So in honor of the 10th anniversary of CMP, there's a CMP theme. It's on you guys to remix any of the CMP levels into a DLC worthy map. Which obviously does mean that, you know, it's got to be good enough for DLC. It can't just be bad. because it's CMP, because those levels were in fact good enough to be in CMP. So we need levels that are good enough to be in DLC. It can be any CMP level that it is, you know, it can be based on any of the CMP levels, only one of them, not like a medley of sorts. Because I still will have the time limits that I give to people, and I still will be assigning characters to teams. So you can consider what map you want to remix with your team. I will be making the threads for that again fairly soon with the details that you guys might want. You know, the characters that are assigned and the time limits. I don't know them off the top of my head, but you know, feel free to enjoy some CMP. We do have the 10th anniversary coming up on Wednesday. Little side note, although so one of the things that has been going on very slowly for CMP to celebrate the 10th anniversary, I'll probably, maybe I'll release the Gamma on Wednesday anyway. I don't know. Just to get it out there. You know, might as well do something on the anniversary and distract people from making their maps. But there are going to be unlock conditions for releasing the compilation maps for the community map pack. You know, we gotta see them all SS'd. You guys held out for long enough, I'm sure it's time to just get the Gamma out there. But we definitely need to see those SS's for the community map pack to be released. Yep. But don't play too much the Gamma. If I do decide to release it on Wednesday. Because we got DLC to play. And there are gonna be way better maps than the Gamma coming out. Alright. I think I just wanna refresh results now. Let me see. Alright, 36 responses. Do I have anything else first? Just double checking. Make sure I don't miss anything. Alright. Round 2 maps poll results. Your team, once again, Kappa Crew with the consistent spelling with the lead. You know, shoutouts to the consistency with the K for Kappa Crew, I guess. We got a few Chipotle people that like it for the acronym. You know, a lot of variants. Rate the map gameplay. Let's see. I think everybody caught some ones this time. Everybody got at least 1-5. All the votes are all over the place, as you can expect. Some people do like to just kind of, you know, influence the votes, to say the least. So I don't take these too seriously, but it does seem like this time we have the most votes like that, this DLC. But depth with the highest average, the most 5s, and also with the aesthetic win. A lot of people also liked Wild Grass Rash, and some questionable votes on any other level, in my opinion. But some favorites out there. You know, people have their preferences. Yeah, a lot of people liking the levels. A lot of people not liking things about the levels too. They do get harder. A lot of people don't care for the tight attacks or having a lot of spikes, but 100% there's a Stockholm syndrome associated with speedrunning. and people can learn to love the levels that they have to play. But they will never learn to love Kid. But yeah, quite a
Feels
variety.
bad, man.
Best team map, Burrito Cavity with the edge here, 15 to 10. Kapataki also getting 10, tied with 16-bit, and 1 fan for the Kid map, Blossoming Leaves. So one representative, 1 holding true. Favorite Atlas map, pretty even split here, but a lot of Pyramid Tomb fans. Which did also have the most votes for favorite invert key. So pretty happy to see that Pyramid Tomb got some good attention here in DLC. Go try it out for normal SS sometime, perhaps, if you're feeling brave. You know, you got a few days. If you're not thinking about CMP, maybe try out some of these levels. Pyramid Tomb, the first. Overhangs from Dark Force. The Jaunt is a CMR level that has one of C's secrets to the Apple SS. That one's pretty elaborate. Pretty long one. I'm a little surprised no one said anything about it, but not really that surprised considering, you know, it's just an invert key kind of level. But invert keys, once again, very split. Only 4 haters this time, so people liking more variety in the inverts. But a lot of them really liking Pyramid Tomb. I wonder if there are any that didn't show up here. Looks like there's a couple missing. We even had 3 people on Wild Grass Ras Apple SS. Apple SS usually doesn't perform too well. It's not usually that common when it's a level like that. No Dash doesn't have too many fans, but it was definitely challenging. You know, maybe not a favorite, but a lot of people said that they enjoyed the challenge of it. Definitely some No Dash fans out there. No Air Charge, very difficult puzzle kind of one. No Air Charge and Infinite Air Charges, I think those 2 are my favorites. A lot of people liked No Jump SS on 16-bit Sprint. There's a lot of variety in that one too. So glad that that one worked out. And the harder No Jump was not as favored, but you know, didn't really have as much weird strat variety or meme challenge potential.
Yeah, there was just a lot of intrigue on the strats on 16-bit, so.
Yeah. We're gonna see a lot of variety in these map feedback responses, like re-alloc low % was fun. I don't know if I can trust this guy's vote.
That was me.
Yeah,
I'm
so
guessing that second comment is JVC.
yeah, really calls into question what kind of preferences all these people have if they're gonna say stuff like this. Blindfold is ableist. We have a more detailed comment. Wild Grass Rash is super cool. Wild Grass Rash is that's more in the DLC 4 and 6 kind of style of DLC level design, whereas most of the other ones are a little bit more similar to DLC 5s. You know, kind of challenging stuff. Nice diversity. We could tweak gaps between lower ranks, I guess.
Some Cap Academy fans in chat still.
Yep. Somehow Blossoming Leaves was too easy. Personally, I don't mind. I intentionally did make it easy. For the record, by the way. Regarding all red key and gold key and all the key timings in general, I do usually exercise the final say on all that and pick the actual numbers. I did want there to be some easier ones. I didn't think Blossoming Leaves was going to be that popular without an easier red key time. I didn't think it was going to be that easy, but it also ended up being something that kind of improved the level a lot by making everybody feel like they had to get the red key, and then kind of warming up to the gameplay on it. And it turned out that a lot of people ended up enjoying their time on Blossoming Leaves, even though it's kind of janky compared to, say, what it could have been like if I made it very strict. Compare that to something like Map Ref last round. Honestly, pretty good level, but such a tough kind of key that a lot of people didn't like it as much because they just kind of had to do the strats. So, interesting how keys tend to affect people's perceptions of levels a lot of the time. And are also very good motivators, ultimately. So yeah, I'm a little bit aware that it was lenient, intentionally so. 16-bit sprint, short, and toxic strats. And Blossoming Leaves are just gambling. The camel bro shows up. Maps were good. Gameplay was good. But sometimes the eyes break. Fun round. Generally pretty good. And then some complainers. But, there's always a little substance to both sides. I'm sure when we finally have another combat level in a DLC, someone's gonna be like, I like this, by the way. And they'll say it in the comments. But then somehow it'll just be given a lot of ones. So keep that in mind if any of you try a combat level. If any of you remix the Horde, I'm gonna be a little strict perhaps. We did also have, back in DLC 5, we did kind of have a remix on the Equus series. Back then from Issa. So something like that would be appropriate, clearly based on those levels. Yeah, we'll see what levels people choose. Should be interesting. I think that wraps everything up though. So I am going to write up a little summary, do the VOD, and get people's threads together and all that other stuff that I gotta do. You guys have a few days off. Yeah, I do plan. So okay, well here's something that you guys could voice input on a little. Should I allow there to be 2 remixes of the same level if people try to do that, or should I be like, someone already claimed this level, and just have more variety? Should I just ban Rufen because that's too predictable?
Nah, Ruven has to happen.
Rufen has to happen?
It is fated. They have
Alright.
JVC and Camel on the same team.
I'll see what I can do.
I think it has to be claimed.
This is the universe conspiring to have that happen.
I would also go as far as to say something like the Equi series should be considered like one map set. Like, I wouldn't want to see multiple versions of Equi maps just because they're technically different maps.
I don't really expect people to choose those if I had to guess, but sure. But yeah, if when someone claims a level, just DM me, I guess. That's if the thread doesn't exist yet, or ping me when you do. But like I said, I'll make the threads very soon. That's what I'll do after the stream's over. Do we have any Dust War streamers out there that could get raided?
I think it's just time for the Camel raid.
Nah, not twice in a row. Another casual long recap, because there's a lot of stuff in DLC 7 each round.